Hello and welcome to Elite Week. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's see here. Okay. So let's start off with introducing everybody and have everybody speak for a couple of seconds so that we can check the sort of sound levels and whatnot, make sure everybody's good. First off, this is me speaking. I hope my sound is good. How about we go with Arson?
Hello,
Hop in and whoops. I got to turn that down. Jesus, put that through silent. Arson, speak up so people can hear you and tell you if your sound is good. Right on. All right. Tweet. Say something so people can hear you.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good night and hope you can all hear us just fine.
Why am I not hearing anything through the stream now? Is something going weird there? All right. And our guest, Commander Scorbus.
Hey there, I'm Commander Scorbus. I'm very happy to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting me. Hopefully people can hear my voice. If not, then the volume levels are inaccurate or inadequate.
There is no audio at this point on the stream. I'm listening to the stream. So after I started talking, it completely went mute. Arson, did you mute and then it global muted? Oh, Nolan heard a Scorb.
Hopefully people can hear my voice. Technology, isn't it wonderful?
Are you mute and then it global? All right, no, actually everybody's good. All right, let's see. Yeah, Carl Baker, that's flaps. All right, okay, people can hear. All right, only Arson at this point. All right, Arson, try speaking. I think for some reason when you spoke, people couldn't hear you. They heard everybody else. Just Arson was muted. Thank you, Van Otter.
Okay, I should no longer be muted.
Arson, you're like double, triple playing. You're echoing like fucking crazy in here. You did something wrong. That's all right. This is the edited part, so fix it and then we'll roll. Were you guys in the stream hearing Arson doubled, like muted or echoed, or was it just the people in the Discord because we were hearing him through the Discord loop and whatever else? Fine, it sounds fine on YouTube. Okay, Arson, speak for us so that we can hear you. Yep, you're good now. All right. Take your second. It's all good. This part gets edited out. It's no biggie. Whoa. All right. Well, while Arson is doing that, let's start by saying hi to everybody. First off, this is Elite Week episode 30. It's Friday night. We're gonna party hardy. We're gonna party like it's 1999.
Kai, can you hear me on Discord?
Yes, I hear you on Discord. And for those listening, go ahead.
Can it please be 1999? 1999 was really good.
Right? All right. So now I'm going to start going through the hellos. We got George Smiley, Fenderbelly. We've got Winter Mute. Hello, hello. Let's see. Commander Single Malt Scotty. Hello, sir. Happy Friday. Nolan Sester. Hi. Van Otter. Hello, hello. Van Otter, are you the Van Otter that plays a lot of different games and streams them and at one point used to play games like Clash of Clans or like different like a lot of different games. I'm gonna look through when I scroll down. Seagull and Chips, hello, hello. Carl Baker, that's a certain admiral on deck. Hello to you, sir. Hawkenforge, hello. Project Wolf Dragon, Arson, no audio. I think I know that Wolf Dragon. We've got Turjan Starstone. Sound issues? Blame Windows updates. Hey, Turjan. For everybody who's listening in the stream, go check out Turjan. He just did a video last week for a commercial for his, well, we covered it on last week's show, but he did a video for like a commercial for his channel. Funny stuff, awesome stuff, good stuff. So, Commander Broken Wan, I can hear. Hello. Let's see. Inf Whale. Big salute to you. I hope you're getting that influence, sir. Commander Scorbus. Where have I seen that name before? Hello, everyone.
I don't know, but I've heard he's a dodgy one. Get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Bionic Keen. Hello, sir. I know where I've seen that name before. Starbear 369. Quadrivium. All right. Zim Mulp. Hello. All right. So lots of hellos, lots of salutes. All right. Now, Arson, is your shit unfucked?
My shit should be unfucked. I just
All right,
need the
everyone.
audience to confirm.
Everyone, confirmed that Arson unfucked himself, and then we'll rock and roll. All right. So we've got that little delay that we're going to deal with. We're just going to chatter and banter for a few
Yep,
seconds.
okay, we're
Okay.
good.
Nolan says yes. All right. Well, all right. If everybody's good, we're going to go ahead and start the show. Now that we've done sound checks and the hellos, everybody. Before we do the start on that thing, let me just say, check out the cover art this week. The thumbnail for the show is fucking amazing. It's a guy, Commander Chris XANDER. It's Chris_Xander on Twitter. CHRIS_XANDER. I like purples. Check that shit out because he's got some good art. All right, Arson, let's fucking rock.
You got it.
Hello and welcome to Elite Week, episode 30, Friday, August the 14th, 2020, Galactic Water Cooler. How are you? I am Kai Zen, and it's Friday night. All right, with us tonight, we've got Arson Cross as a co-host, and of course, on the tech. Say hello to the beautiful people, Arson.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to be here as usual.
All right. And we also have Tweak74 in the house. Say hello, Tweaked.
Hello, all my space peeps out there. We made it to another Friday night, made it through another rough week. Hope everybody's cracking them open, having a good time.
Hell yes. And tonight, Roy will not be with us because Roy is taking his kid on a college tour. So he's driving around, I don't know, going to colleges, which sounds really fun when you're a kid, but when you're old enough to have a kid, when you're old enough to have a kid going to college, it does not sound as fun. Nope. All right. And we have a special guest tonight, folks. That's right. Olivia Munn is here. Oh, wait. No, sorry. We've got special guest Commander Scorbus in the house. Say hello to the beautiful people, Scorb.
Hello, you beautiful people. I'm actually from the future because it's the 15th for me right now.
Right?
Yeah.
England
Time travel for the win.
England is in the future. Who would have thunk it? All right. So, all right. Let's start off with the big happy birthday to Dr. K. Ross. Her birthday was on Saturday, actually, August the 8th. So her birthday was this last week. Much love, much big salutes, and all of good things and good thoughts to Dr. K. Right, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. K, yes.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
happy birthday.
Yeah.
Right on. It's going to be one of those nights. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not very good at prompts. Dr. K is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful person. Love Dr. K to bits.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All
Dr.
right.
K is my hero.
Yes, mine as well. Dr. Hayes, who I want to be when I grow up. All right. And we're up to Just for those keeping score at home, we're up to 1,948 people in the Discord, up from 1,864 last week. The Dark Wheel project is continuing to move along, and this show is continuing to grow, and we're thankful for it. The vast majority of the people that listen to the show listen in, on podcasts, but the YouTube numbers are going up, and we've got a decent amount of people that come out for the Friday night party now, which is awesome. And we have, it's just continuing to grow. And the numbers of the people that watch it over the weekend are getting pretty good. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's helping to make that happen. And we're going to start a new segment that we're going to start at the top of every show, which is GALNET Watch. The last post was the VITADYNE NANOMEDS, which was on June 9th, 3305, which is 56 days ago as of today. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Fleet carriers have been in this game for almost 2 months. And, they got some bugs, but hell, I'm glad to have them. All right, Arson, hit the stuff.
You got it. If you're watching live, you already know we record on youtube.com/Elite Week every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight UTC. So come join the fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified when we post new videos or go live. If you want to share your feedback on the show, we read our YouTube comments, podcast reviews, Discord feedback channels, and emails. If you want to reach out via email, you can send your feedback to eliteweek3306@gmail.com. You can also join us on Discord to discuss the show, share your feedback, get involved with Turning the Wheel, and connect with other commanders. You can get your invite to the party on Discord at tinyurl.com/EliteWeekDiscord. If you found us on YouTube and prefer to listen to a podcast edit of this episode, you can find us on anchor.fm/EliteWeek, where you can listen or find links to other platforms more convenient for you. If you are listening to the podcast on Anchor.fm, iTunes, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, or Spotify, please consider leaving a rating, review, or comment. If we don't yet support your preferred format for listening, let us know and we'll look into it. Every week we review feedback from our discussion topics from all of these places and share them at the end of the show. We don't do Patreon, so save your money. Just tell your friends about the show.
Beautiful. That's good stuff. All right. So let's get started. We're going to start right off the bat with an interview with my man, Commander Scorbus, who was so nice to join us because I don't know, those of you who aren't sort of paying attention or whatever, we started at 1 a.m. Englandy time, and we're going till like 3:30. So this guy's a fucking maniac for staying up with us. But Scorb, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. And don't worry too much about the time, because we've had this lockdown thing in the UK, which nobody's getting any sleep anymore. And it's been really hot. So this is just normal now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, let's start off with the plugs. We're going to have in the show notes a link to the broadcast Discord, which is where you should go to check up on Scorb and the gang and all of the stuff. Your Twitch is twitch.tv/Commander Scorbus. That's just CMDR ASCORBIUS. No spaces, no underscores, no nothing. Your Twitter is twitter.com Commander Scorbus, exactly the same, CMDR ASCORBIUS. And your YouTube is youtube.com/Commander, all written out, COMMANDER_Scorbius, just because you had to be difficult.
Sorry.
All right. So, okay. Everybody knows who you are, but in case somebody is like, man, I downloaded, I bought Elite Dangerous a week ago, and then I heard about this crazy show of these fucking nutso American people partying on Friday night and drinking, getting sloshed and talking about Elite. So I don't know who this person is that you're talking about. Why don't you tell the beautiful people a little bit about you?
All right. Well, first of all, for those people who have only just gotten Elites, welcome to Elite Commanders, because this is a growing community, more and more players all the time, and it's wonderful and one of the best communities that you could ever hope to be part of.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm Commander Scorbus. I don't know what it is I do anymore. I just make content. So I do live streams mostly on Sundays, so 8 p.m. BST or whatever the current time. It's just 8 p.m. UK time, where we do typically what is the old broadcast. We kind of keep it the same format as the old broadcast, but we also do streams during the week as well sometimes. But it's very, it's not very scheduled because scheduling is for people with schedules, and I other things kind of like get my attention. Like sometimes I'll go for entire weeks without doing any streams at all because I'll be working on a video. Because that's the other thing that I do. I make YouTube videos about Elite Dangerous, but they are different in many ways to a lot of other videos in which they are mostly fully animated with lip synced audio, and I basically made a massive rod for my own back, which means I can never relax. I can't play the game because I'm making videos or streaming, taking months and months of time. And everybody else has got fleet carriers now and like all the top end ships, and they've done all the engineering, and there's me like, that's very nice. That's a nice ship you got there. Oh, that does lots of damage. I don't do any damage.
Well, so for those who, sort of might be like, oh, what's the broadcast or whatever? The broadcast was kind of like what we do. They got together and they did a talk show. It was you had Hawks. You had
it was started by Josh Hawkins back when. Yeah. But he's since gone to do real life stuff. But we still have a lot of the old crew. So Turgeon Starstone, who's in chat right now. We've got Commander Greytest. And then we've got some new guys as well. Commander Nix and a couple of the other guys as well who are with us on in the community. We just all do some cool stuff. We try to do the same thing as this, have fun with our friends and talk some crap, really. Not that we're talking crap. Not that no. You know what I mean.
No, I get it 100%. And yes, Turgeon is in the chat, and everyone who's listening right now too, because I said this before when we were doing sort of the stream intro, the stuff that gets edited out of the podcast, but I want to say this on the podcast. You heard me last week talk about Turgeon and how the machine does his thing and Turgeon does his thing and Scorb does his thing, and then a lot of those guys kind of like do voice bits for each other's parts and stuff, whatever. But go check out Turgeon Starstone's new commercial for his channel, because it's fucking hilarious. It's good stuff. It's really the kind of stuff that you can literally just, if you're like, I don't know who this Turgeon guy is, go look up Turgeon Starstone. It's TURJAN space STARSTONE. Go check out his channel, click, and just start watching and go next, and then just get back to me in a couple hours and you can say thanks, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And obviously the same with the Scorbius, and we're gonna get into that. So Scorb, you do a couple of different types of videos or whatever. Sometimes you'll do stuff where you're talking sort of directly seriously about, like, let's be honest, when fleet carriers first came out, they came out in a state that was not good, and you were a voice that was highly critical of that. And I think that in the end, it could be said that it was a mix of voices like mine who were saying like, hey, this is good but needs to be tweaked a little here, and then voices like yours that were a little more critical. I think it was a mixture of all of our voices that went into getting them fixed and getting them right so that people could kind of actually enjoy them now. So you do some videos like that. I saw you do a video when lockdown first happened where it's just you looking at the screen saying like, hey, this is a serious thing. You need to kind of think about this and think about that for your mental health or whatever. But then you do those amazing, hilarious machinima style videos where, your character is getting into all kinds of hijinks that are like just absolutely amazing. So go ahead.
Well, it's the thing. Like, I first started making videos. Oh god, it's like 3 years ago now, and it was because of Turgeon and Josh Hawkins. To be honest, I saw what they were doing, and they did a collaboration video where it was like, oh god, exploring the Milky Way galaxy with Commander Josh Hawkins. That's the thing that he had going on. And I also found Turgeon Starstone at the same time, and I was hooked with Turgeon stuff ever since the first video of his I saw, which was Mojo Moon, which is the first one he's done, and it's bloody hilarious because Turgeon's early work was highlighting glitches in the game. So they saw this moon jump. And so I'm looking at that. Actually, yeah, that's really funny. And the way that he shot his stuff and poured story into it, I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to tell stories, so I'll have a crack at that. And to be honest, my early attempts were not good. No, they weren't good. But I got a bit better, and I actually got to meet Turgeon in over in the Discord on the broadcast. I got to spend some time with Josh Hawkins as well. And they're absolutely wonderful people, and they really helped to like nurture me and get my stuff going to the point. I think I could safely blame Turgeon for this. Like, I'm a perfectionist in many ways, and I always try to up the ante on the last video that I did. And it's always all right. I've done this thing. How can we do that better? What can I do better now? And okay, so all right, so I did that one. How can I do this one better? Oh well, now we're at the point where I can't just have spaceships anymore. I need people. I need people talking. I'm going to do that. And it was really, yeah. It takes a lot of time, and let's say the wife doesn't always agree with that.
Yeah, I definitely get that, man. But we're appreciative that you do it. So yeah, that's good stuff.
My aim is to make people laugh. If I make you laugh, then my mission is accomplished. That's my job.
Fair enough. And I mean, lately you've been doing stuff you did a lot of stuff with Turning the Wheel. You've been doing stuff with, over the last week or two, you've been doing stuff with this, like a kind of like a newer guide to like different things in the galaxy. I know you did that thing with, was it Nova? What's her name? That you were taking her out on like a tour guide, going to like all the different sites and
Lorios, yeah.
Yes, Lorios.
Yeah, so yeah, she's like I said, there are some new people watching this and listening to this right now, and it does seem like when you first start playing Elite, there is a sheer cliff of difficulty, which has actually gotten a little bit easier now. But when I first started playing, it certainly was a sheer cliff, and I had to find the handholds as I'm climbing up the cliff, and I've never done rock climbing in my life, and I'm scared of heights, so it was rough. But now things are a lot easier. But Lorios has actually done really, really well, and we haven't pushed her too much. She's found out a lot of stuff on her own. She started streaming and been doing really well. But the thing that she didn't know about was all of the Thargoid lore, and it's a thing that the game doesn't really push you towards. Like, it's not a very heavily narrative driven game where it's like, okay, we will drag you from point to point to point to point, and you will experience story. It doesn't work that way. You go to places on your own, almost in an organic way, and you find out about stuff, and then it's up to you to go and look it up. But sometimes it's a little bit too vague, I feel. So we took Lorios out to show her all of the Thargoid stuff and all of the lore around it. The Jameson crash site, the crash Cyclopses with all the other ships that have been crashed. It's like all this stuff, and it brings up this deeper mystery of what on earth is going on. And it was great. She really enjoyed it, and a lot of people enjoyed it. There was a lot of people on stream who'd never seen any of that stuff before, and because we take it for granted because we've been there all the time. We've seen this stuff, but there's a lot of people who've never seen it, and it makes me happy that we can do that and we can show new players that sort of stuff is there.
When you took her to Jameson's crash site, if you did not also take her to that INRA base that shows the other side of that story, you definitely need to take her there soon.
We did.
Yeah, good stuff.
We did the crash site, and it was very much a have the tissues handy for when you're listening to those audio logs.
Yeah,
man. And then we went to the INRA site, and yeah, it does show you the other side of that story, and it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But then we also went to, I keep forgetting the guy's name, the guitar guy, the book killer.
Oh, Bug Killer. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Because like that guy is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of tragic as well, but it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, but that kind of tragic. So there's the two kinds of tragic. There's the kind of tragic of like, you know, the belter loader that's slingshotting around where it's like, all right, asshole, you got yourself into that, as opposed to somebody else that I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to give a spoiler. But when that guy goes, you're like, no, my heart. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop. We don't do Expanse talk because I don't want to ruin it. All right, so yeah, man. So for everybody who's listening in, check out Scorb stuff. He streams, you know, so you'll see him actually just do Let's Play type stuff where he's streaming, he's playing, he's doing stuff, and people are coming in. He does videos that are of the serious nature, and then he does the videos that are, you know, acted out, and those are silly, fun, funny stuff. So check out all of that stuff. Again, his Discord, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube are all going to be linked in the show notes. So if you're watching this on Discord, if you're watching this on YouTube live, give it, you know, when the stream is done, give it a half an hour, and the show notes will be up by tomorrow morning. All of the timestamps will be up, and tomorrow afternoon/evening, the podcast will be up, and again, it will have the show notes in that as well.
I just noticed something because I'm currently watching the stream on YouTube as well. You're missing an R in my name.
Where? Oh, wow. Arson. This week's special guest, Commander Scorbus. Arson. Beautiful. Good stuff.
It's Ascorbius after ascorbic acid, because when sailors go out on the expeditions, they need to have lots of vitamin C.
Scurvy.
Yeah, to get rid of scurvy. So that's why Ascorbius came from.
That's hilarious.
Whoopsie.
All right.
Actually, that's the sanitized version. The real reason is because I used to play EVE Online, and I had to create a character name when I first started playing it. And I had a can of Pepsi Max, and I looked on the back and it said ascorbic acid. Yeah, that'll do. So I typed it in.
Beautiful.
That's where it really came from. Don't tell anyone.
We won't. And nobody, I promise you, if it happens here, no one will ever hear about it. All right. So Scorb is going to sit in with us as we go through the whole show and tell you guys about what happened this week in Elite. We're going to drink, we're going to curse, we are going to do what stupid men do, and we hope that you will enjoy it and point and laugh. All right, let's start off with the Dark Wheel update. Whew. Let's hit the stats, all right? And Yanwu will go above 75% on Sunday. We've been running it. We've been owning it. We've been making gains every single day. The only reason why we don't have it above 75% right now is because we've crashed everyone in the system except for number 2 and number 3, and they are locked in a election. So we can't touch their influence. That influence will be touchable as of tomorrow because that election is going to end tomorrow on the tick, and we are going to butt fuck the hell out of them and take all of that influence and get out of Yanwu, because we have not been having a lot of fun in that little system with just the little teeny tiny landing pads. So we're gonna, you know, people, especially so many of us playing open, that like we pull up and you're sitting there and you're waiting behind like 4 different people that are like, it's like trying to get to like a bathroom at a concert or something. You're just standing in line. All right. We own 4979. We won that war. Of course we did. We're at 54%, and we are pumping that to expand. What we're going to do is we're going to expand Yanwu, and then as soon as we're done popping Annie, we're going to pop 4979, and we're going to expand towards Lave on that one. So we're working it from both sides. The legions are performing very, very well. Since we stood up the Black Sky Legion, we have been killing it. People are like, those guys are doing amazing. Now the Rabbit Hamster Legion is doing great work in 4979. They are doing their stuff, and Crypto, huge salute to Crypto. He is absolutely getting it done. But I want to take a quick second, a very quick second, and say a very, very special thank you to the members of the Black Sky Legion, because these guys, like the orders that I've been giving these guys and the fact that they've been getting it done is just staggering. So I want to say thank you to the following people: Anode, Aviard, B Chambers, Biotic King, Defin 10, Fearless F21, Garud, Harry Badge, Jack Wilmslow, Jan D Bulldozer, Mac Saffron, Null Vector, Obsolete Robot, Phil Barnes, Ray Oko, Rusty X Nails, Sab Tour, Starbear 369, Commander Quadrivium, Swordsmith 95, SWR, Techno Trousers, love that fucking name, Thundar, Tubers, and Tugboat X_X, Tugboat X_X. Guys, thank you so fucking much. You guys would not believe the orders that I'm giving these guys every day. It's like, okay, here are all 7, groups in the, for us, get like, 40, 50 inf, no big deal. For number 2, we want them to, win the war. So run 30 rep missions for them. That way we're going to have your rep maxed out while you're actually getting, just enough free imp for the war, so that you can push them over so that they'll win and we'll get it 4 days straight. But we really want the rep so that as soon as they're done, we can give all of their tourists the worst rides of their life to fail missions on purpose. Group number 3, they're in this other system. Go get a ton of rep for them, just because so that way you're ready to steal from them. 4, 5, 6, and 7 fail 8 missions, fail 9 missions, fail 12 missions, whatever. And these guys are getting it done, which is just beautiful. So thank you so much for that. You guys rock. Let's see. So that's where we're at with the Black Sky Legion. Our next jump is going to put us on the outer reaches of the soul sphere of influence. But there is more, one more sort of secret final target destination, which is right next to or close to soul that we're aiming at. And once we hit that spot, we are going to do the test for phase 1. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see, the soul system's got an empty slot sitting in there that fits. There's only 6 minor factions in there. There's supposed to be a 7th. Maybe we're it. We'll find out. And regardless of what happens at that point, then we get to the best, to me, the part that I'm super, super excited for. I've been forcing myself like, hey, we're gonna eat our meat and vegetables first, but then we're gonna move on to the dessert. And the dessert is LFT 509. I know there's some people excited to see what happens when we get to LFT 509. So, yeah. And the last thing I want to do is highlight the many dark wheel streams of this week. Obviously, I can't catch them all. There's even a guy in French and a guy in German that are doing the dark wheel stuff that I've been told about. But I just want to highlight a couple of them real quick for people to check out. Burr with the Breakfast Club stream every Thursday morning. He's been doing the dark wheel. Plater did an amazing sort of stream for the dark wheel, turning the wheel. Drew Wagar just yesterday, did a really cool, fun, funky stream of turning the dark wheel. DH397, this guy, you can just check out his whole channel because he's got tons of turning the dark wheel videos. But I linked one that he did from the other day that it was like 6 hours of doing missions and chatting and talking about setting up voice attack stuff and doing this and doing that, like just all kinds of stuff. And Orange Phoenix had a really, really good turning the dark wheel one from like 5 days ago. All of these are going to be linked in the show notes, so you can absolutely check them out and just sort of, hop in and like I like to put that stuff on the second screen, veg out, and then like I'm running my missions and I'm listening to them doing their stuff and talking or whatever. And it's just very, very, very relaxing for me. So if you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. Let's start with Arson. What do you think on all of this Dark Wheel hoopla?
I'm more and more excited every single day. It's fantastic. The Black Sky Legion, it hasn't been around long, but they are hammering it out. And I've been seeing those orders you mentioned, and it's not small tasks. But the thing that amazes me is, not only, every little bit helps, but we got people in here not just doing like 1 or 2 of the 10 items on the list. They're popping out all of them and huge amounts on it all. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did you think of that Drew Wagar stream yesterday? That was kind of interesting stuff, yeah?
Unfortunately, I did not see it.
Wow, you have it right there. You can link to it and watch it after we're done with the show, my friend.
Yeah,
so you got that to look forward to. And are you? What are you thinking about Soul? And what are you thinking about 509? I know I'm excited for both, but if I'm being honest, I'm more excited for 509.
Yeah, 509 is definitely the one that I am pumped for. I'm looking forward to getting to Soul because just the fact of knowing whether or not the Dark Wheel slot's in there or not. Because if it's not the Dark Wheel, then who the hell is it going to be?
Yeah. I agree.
It'd be Costco. We know it's going to be Costco.
It could be Costco. It could be the Costco faction. All right, Tweaked, what do you think about all this Dark Wheel nonsense?
Well, I gotta say, just like you did, props to everybody working on it. I mean, like you said, the orders that you're putting out are not simplistic orders. We're attacking this thing from about 8 different ways, and the guys are taking it, running with it, and just knocking it out of the park. They really are doing a great job. I'm excited, like you, to get to Soul. The 6 factions in Souls intrigues me, and much like we always heard about you can't move anything in Shinny, we've always heard you can't move a faction into Soul, so I'm very curious to test that theory, prove it right or wrong one way or the other, and then the big bugaboo, LFT 509, to get in there and see if anything happens to that with all the stuff that has come out over the last 6 months or so about that one.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, and Ascorbius, your thoughts on all of this?
Well, my thoughts are quite simple, really. One, it's like the fact that you guys have like put all this stuff together and have got the community moving almost in unison is amazing. Because before this, all people were doing was mining for credits so that they could buy their fleet carrier. And that's basically, if you look at what players were doing, that's all they were doing. And it's like every single thread and every single thing that anybody was talking about was, well, I'm grinding credits so I can get my thing. Grinding is the most boring thing in the world. So what that said to me was, there are thousands and thousands of bored commanders just going through the motions of trying to make some money just so they can do a thing that they don't even know is going to be any good. Because, obviously I had my reservations, but turns out I was a bit wrong. I was a bit wrong.
No, I disagree. You weren't wrong. The stuff was bad when it was first dropped, but partly due to your and other people's observations, it was changed into something that eventually was good.
But the point, like, so people were going after the fleet carriers and they were doing all this stuff and they were just accruing money, which, if you want to just see a number go up, then you can play that. Was that game Cookie Clicker on the browser? Just, my number's getting bigger. That's not fun. Yeah. So what I see here, what you guys have facilitated, that's the right word, isn't it? It is giving people a reason to play. Giving them a reason to do all the variety of activities that are in the game that they maybe would like, I did some of that BGS stuff and I did some of this stuff. I did some missions to earn money, but it wasn't worth enough money. So I went and did mining again. But now it's not just about the money, which it never really should be. Now it's about something bigger than themselves, which is fantastic. And we can see the turnout. We can see how things have gone. Like a war happens, war's won. It's like, oh my God, what have you started, you maniac?
It's hilarious because everything that we've done where it's like this election or this war or this whatever, whether it's one that we're working actively or whether it's a side one that we're just doing whatever, we've never had one that's gone 5 days. It's always a sweep in 4 and done. It's pretty fun stuff. It's pretty good.
But it's wonderful.
Yeah,
because now you can got like I said earlier on, we've got a new commander who's with us, Lorios. She's streaming, and so she's doing stuff for the Dark Wheel.
Beautiful.
And the thing is, that shows she sees the current orders for the day, and so she knows that she can get some missions in whatever station. Because they don't have to be combat missions; it can be any of the wide spectrum of missions that are available, depending on, I guess, the status of the system at the time. I'm not fully brilliant with all that stuff. I don't pretend to be an expert on anything really, but the fact that she can do that. Be entertained, do something interesting, find all these different things, find different types of gameplay, find all this, make some money, make some friends, and achieve something bigger than herself. Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I got a little secret for you. You keep saying, you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that. I've seen you on more than a few occasions running missions for the Dark Wheel, so you're one of us.
It's a secret.
One of us.
As a BGS guy, I was just going to say, as a BGS guy, it's exciting for me to see such a large turnout in the community that are doing nothing but BGS, and they're totally excited about it. Typically, and before this, people were like, BGS, what the heck is BGS? And now everybody's working it and into it and starting to understand it and seeing what I mean when I say BGS is the lifeblood of Elite Dangerous. It really affects everything, and everything you do affects it. And I think everybody is starting to see just exactly what I mean in that.
Well,
I guess anything can be a grind if there's no purpose. So if you're just trying to make money, is that a purpose in its own right? If you've got a reason to do something, like if you don't have a reason to do BGS work, if it's just to keep your player minor faction, in their place, or maybe to expand, that's interesting to some people, but not to everyone. But this is bigger than that. This is bigger than just one player minor faction. We're trying to unlock a mystery here.
Yes.
And it's the oldest mystery in the game. This is the Dark Wheel. This is Raxa. We're trying to crack that nut. Only instead of trying to use a little toffee hammer that we've been using before, we bought a massive sledgehammer. Only it's not just one sledgehammer. They're queuing around the block with sledgehammers now.
Well, and also, because I happen to know that there's some people at Frontier. There's some people that live in the Cambridge area that listen to this show, because I've spoken with some about it. And let me just say, I think this shows the amount of people that have gotten hyped for this shows. Like, there's a lot of people that want story, that really, really, really want some story, that want some whatever, and they're willing to even go out on faith and put time in and grind BGS with the hopes of, will this lead to story? We would like story. So yeah, good stuff. All right. So that's what's. Go ahead.
Sorry. You're talking about story, and I just feel like I'm so passionate about all this stuff. Like, I don't know if you can tell. It's like when I first started playing Elite Dangerous, I was so into the lore. There was so much stuff in GALNET that I couldn't even read it all. It was like, oh, I'll get to that later. And I bought every single one of the books as well. So I read all of Drew's books, every single one of them. In fact, I'm still reading, because I took a break from them, but I'm still reading Michael Brooks's book right now. So
Here the Wheel Turns?
Yeah. I'm working on that right now. In fact, I'm actually hoping there's a bloody secret in there that he just hid in his bloody book.
There's some stuff in that book that is there's like 3 or 4 things from that book that I've thrown around and discussed with some people, and we're like, this could be a thing to look into later. Yeah. But
the fact that, like, that, are we going to talk about the GALNET thing? Because, like, I really miss it. Anyway, to you, sir.
All right. Well, yes, absolutely. We will definitely get into that. In fact, you know what? In the show notes, I'm going to include on your request here, I'm going to include a link. I wrote a little forum post on the Frontier forums about I don't know what, 6 months ago or whatever, a few months back, that was about sort of, well, no, maybe not, maybe like 3 months back, whatever, that was about GALNET going away and saying like, hey man, this is, I'm not going to be a jerk and like yell at you or whatever, but I'm going to say nicely, here's why I think we should have story in the game. Here's why I think GALNET is needed. Here's why I think lore and narrative are important to not just me, but I think to a lot of people, I hope. And that forum thread ended up getting massively sort of like, lots of people liked it and lots of people sort of added to it with their thoughts or whatever. So I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes. If you're listening to this, please go to that post and read what I wrote. It's long, but please read it. And if you agree with it, click like on it. So just because I feel like every other like on it, every next thing of people that then read through the thread and add their thoughts and say like, hey man, I just want to say this or that. I think it highlights to Frontier, who right now, as we speak, are doing a lot of thinking and allocating on what's going to go here and what's going to go there. And, can we fit in VR, and are we going to have this, and are we going to have that? And what are we going to do with this? And what are we going to do with that? One of the things that they're doing is figuring out, okay, to what extent are we going to put time and dollars, hours and dollars into story and lore and tie-ins to all of those things. And I think that every click of like on that initial forum post and every comment that gets added to it that adds to the 70 pages or whatever of stuff that's on there, man, that is just, it's just helping to show, hey, this is super, super important. So, so I'm going to put a link in that and go check it out. Now let's jump from that to the real world science update, parentheses, plus the Expanse news, because I said so. First, we've got What the Math. This is a thing that Arson gave you a little spoiler on it last week. The NASA, the new NASA Venus mission will lead to mind-blowing technology. This is an amazing video. Venus, really, the most exploration of Venus has actually been done by the Soviet Union, but NASA is hopping in on it now, and it's up on the screen right there. The What the Math. I love that guy. Anton is a crazy, crazy awesome dude. So basically, Venus has like crazy, crazy weather and corrosive atmosphere and crazy temperatures, and there's lightning strikes, and there's all kinds of reasons why all of the standard stuff that we're doing on Mars or the moon or other places will not work on Venus. You land a probe there, it's good for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever, and then it melts basically. So they're coming up with new technologies, new ways of doing things that are like making computer chips based out of silica, different things based out of different, like using different materials, using different methods instead of like a robot that like does things a certain way by a standard sort of machine thing. They're using these weird mixes of like old technologies where like back in ye olden times they had those they had like a machine
Automata.
Automata or whatever, where somebody, like if you wrote with a pen on something, there was almost like a robot arm, but it was mechanical, that it would follow your movements or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And this is like a 15-minute long video. Go watch this video and just prepare for your mind to melt, because like the crazy shit that they're doing and what this guy's talking about here, he's saying like, this is going to lead to all kinds of crazy new technologies, and this is going to totally like change a lot of stuff, because when we crack it, when we lick the problem and figure out how to do all this stuff, it's going to lead to amazing stuff for us. Arson, your thoughts on that video?
I think it's fantastic. The whole idea, I think it's a type of gallium that they're going to be making computer chips out of for high heat resistance specifically. That is extremely exciting to me, just because of the sheer factor of durability of electronics made with that. Because if they can get performance on a level that is equal to what we have now, we could potentially see, number one, gallium blow up as a financial market option, but also we could see significantly more longer lasting computers in our homes, and that would be badass.
Right on. Yeah. Excellent stuff. Tweaked, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a very intriguing video. I'm all for, like I've said before, I'm all for advancing our technologies in any way, shape, and form we can. And what's really going to be exciting is when they do get that right, get it working so they can send something to Venus and have it, crawl around and feel the rocks and feel the holes and sensors working and all that. But then combine it with the computer technology and everything, then we'll really be in some futuristic business stuff going on out there.
Right on. Scorb, what do you think about the whole Venus project? Crazy stuff, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And if you think about, like, any time that we've had an advancement in technology, it's always because there's been some, like, real hardship, like either because of a war or something like that. So having to make things that can survive in the atmosphere of Venus and, like, bring back some meaningful data or stay there for a while without melting, like you say, will lead to new materials and new technologies that we can use here on Earth, and also understanding that climate there, so we don't accidentally reproduce it here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, the next video, this is again what the math. We reached the next mind-blowing era of the ion engine propulsion. This is a video that I'm not going to go too much into it, but basically the short version is these eggheads at MIT, God bless them, made this thing where it's like it is an engine. We use ion propulsion already in space, but that's because there's no wind resistance in space. There's no gravity that you're dealing with, so it's super easy to use sort of an ion engine that's gonna push out and whatever. But you never use an ion engine here on Earth because you use rockets that are using rocket fuels, and they're very, very costly. They're very, very wasteful. They're very, very short term. But you just need it to get that brute force to just escape gravity. Well, these guys at MIT created this little plane that you could take it off and it could fly. And yeah, it's a little teeny thing, and it only went, whatever, it flew for a minute, but it's basically sort of the equivalent of the Wright brothers. You had the Wright brothers with their stuff that they did that Kitty Hawk flight for all of like whatever, for 14 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, and 50 years later we had people on the moon. So what they're showing in this video is like, they can get this. If they can get this and sort of figure it out and keep tinkering and keep whatever, we could literally be 20, 30 years away from ion engines on, like, jet planes flying people around or whatever, which would be massively more efficient, massively, less detrimental to the environment, massively more able to do crazy shit where, stuff like you see in the movies, the what do you call that? The Marvel movies or whatever, where they have that like fucking like aircraft carrier just flying through the air or whatever. Shit like that you can't do for realsies, because it's like, you would need all of the fuel in the world to keep that thing up for 5 minutes. With ion engines, shit like that starts to become theoretically within the realm of possibility. And so, yeah, man, cool stuff. Does anybody have anything you want to chip in on this one? I know Scorb is a big fan of ion engines.
I am, and if you think about it, they've been a component of sci-fi for a very long time. Like,
oh, yeah.
TIE fighters have ion engines. It's they. You have to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think chemical rockets have a finite speed limit, because you can only accelerate out to as fast as the particles that you're chucking out. So if they're going at 2, you can only accelerate to 2, but then it all balances out. Ion engines don't have that limit, but they have very little thrust. Right? Isn't the current ion engines put out as much thrust as the weight of a piece of paper? something like that. But out in space when there's no gravity, that builds up, and it builds up to tremendous forces, and they go so fast. They accelerate to very slowly, but they do get to tremendous speeds. So if they can make that better, that's Stark Tech repulsor technology.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. This thing that they showed from this team from MIT, they've cracked it. They've gotten it way, way stronger than the force of a piece of paper. Now it's a matter of scaling that up and figuring out how to get it to but literally what he was talking about is, we could be 10 to 20 years away from them replacing literally booster rockets to get up into atmosphere, stuff that can carry heavy, heavy shit. That could be a possibility with this stuff.
Just as an aside, sorry, do we know what the technology that we use in Elite for the engines? Do we know what that is?
I personally, I think, I may be wrong, but I think it is a hybrid ion and something else.
Yeah, because you can see with the thrusters and all. Yeah, so your ship obviously has multiple forms of propulsion. You've got the frame shift drive, which now you're getting into a whole other freaky deaky thing. But then you have the ones that you use in regular space, and I think that those are sort of ion. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's you're literally fuel scooping. So for both, yeah. So that's going to be ion. All right,
yeah.
Tweet, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, this video actually was more exciting to me than the last video for the simple fact that rocket fuel is only going to take us so far, and I think it's pretty much taken us as far as we're going to get. This technology further developed to me is the beginning of actual space travel. It's the beginning of becoming possible for some actual space travel. Maybe not in our lifetime, maybe 50, 100 years or so away, but it's the start of something better.
One day we will make it to Hutton Orbital.
That's right.
All right. So the next thing, we got an article out by NASA. Hubble finds that the Betelgeuse's mysterious dimming was due to a traumatic outburst. Arson, go ahead and throw that up on the screen. We've got basically what happened was when a couple months back, when people were saying, "Oh, Betelgeuse is dimming," and I know there's going to be some pedantic people out there going, "Actually, it's Betelgeuse." No, actually, it's both pronunciations are correct. So, yeah, so take that. Anyways, back when that happened, people were saying "Oh wow, is it going to go supernova? Is it going to go this? Is that going to go that? Why did it dim?" Well, the picture up on the screen will show you they had a huge outgassing. There was a discharge, traumatic outburst, as they describe it here, that came. I think it's, what do you call it, a coronal mass discharge or whatever. Click on the article because I'm dumb and they're smart and they'll explain it. But basically, you can see on the picture on the screen what you're seeing is that it shot out a cloud of stuff, and that stuff was blocking the direct view of it, which is why it seemed to dim. Super, super interesting. I'm glad that we're not in a neighborhood, because that would not be a fun place to be at if that cloud of stuff was coming at you.
Be a bit toasty, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a bit. And we also have the final practice run of OSIRIS-REx. The approach to BENNU was a total success. Now, this happened literally yesterday. It's crazy shit. And it blows my mind that people just don't have a fucking clue at all that this happened, because this is beyond crazy shit. Now, let me break this down to you. The OSIRIS-REx spacecraft performed its final practice run, reaching an approximate altitude of 131 feet or 40 meters over the sample site Nightingale before executing the back-away burn. This is a crazy. They're literally doing a practice run and getting telemetry information on this, right? And they're 40 meters away from this asteroid, and they're backing off to, it's okay, now let's look at all of our data, let's check it, let's make sure it's actually right, and then in a month or two, we'll actually go down and we'll hit, and we'll and when they land, they're going to land this thing for like a matter of seconds. They're going to do kind of like a leapfrog, like a frog maneuver where they're going to land. It's going to like inject down this sample collector. They're going to collect all kinds of information in just a few seconds, and they're going to launch again and land and take off to go to another site where they're going to like do the same thing. And they're going to go around to several sites around this object, and they're going to collect materials, right? And then they're going to bring it back to Earth. Now, you might be saying like, well, why the hell is it such a big deal that they got to practice this for months and do everything exactly right? So this thing, and this is the part that blows my mind because I don't think anybody really, like most people don't know this. This spacecraft, OSIRIS-REx, and this object, BENNU, are right now, as we speak, 179 million miles or 288 million kilometers from Earth. So when they send the signal over telling the little craft to do something, it takes 16 minutes for the spacecraft to receive the radio signals that it gets for its command. That lag time is preventing all kinds of sort of normal things that you would do with stuff where you're figuring out how you're going to do this. So that's why a thing that seems like, oh, this will be an easy landing, they're rehearsing the hell out of this, because if they get it wrong and this thing goes kaput, it's 180 million miles from here. It's not exactly 179, let's be specific. But it's not like you can just be like, all right, crap, let's send another one. They're collecting all these samples, and then they're bringing it back to Earth. They plan to return to Earth with the samples on September 24th, 2023. This thing is crazy, and it's melting my mind that we're doing this, and I love it, but I'm a little curious that it's like, I wonder how many people have never heard of this. Arson, your thoughts?
I am just excited about the fact that this is one step closer to belter loaders.
Now, before I put this in the show notes, is this something that you were aware of, that this was happening?
I had no idea, no.
Okay. I'm just curious about that. Tweaked?
Nope, I had no idea about this either. But to me, anything we do like this, the more and more space education and knowledge we get is better for everything, I think. And imagine that lag. Imagine us playing our game, playing Elite, trying to land our crate with a 15-minute lag. We'd be going ballistic, and they're doing it with multi-million, if not billion-dollar equipment so far away. It's incredible what they're doing.
I guarantee you, multi-billion. Yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, and you didn't know about this at all either?
Nope, I hadn't heard a thing about this, and I'm pretty plugged into all the Space Force and Space NASA and all that kind of stuff. I follow all their pages and stuff. Somehow I missed this.
And the thing about this, honestly, for me, because like every once in a while you'll see something where it's like NASA found a meteor out there that it's 100% diamond, or it's 100% gold, it's worth trillions or whatever, right? But like they're like, well, it's it's also 190 million miles away, and people think like, well, okay, well then that's a thing, like you might as well just say, okay, that's on the other side of the galaxy, there's no way we can get to it. Oh yeah, no, we can get to it. And eventually when some Elon Musk type cats start figuring out, like, right, okay, we're going to get here, we're going to whatever, and we did the dollars and cents, and we're going to come back with way more than enough to pay for this thing. Yeah, that shit, Arson was right. Belter loaders are on the horizon.
It's coming.
Scorbus, your thoughts?
Well, also, I hadn't heard about this until tonight, but it does put me in mind of like, so this is hard, right? This is really, really hard. People think Dark Souls is hard. This is really freaking hard. So what that makes me think is these guys at NASA, they're chilling to Dark Souls. This is freaking easy. This piece of cake. God, why is this game so easy? God damn it, I'm going to land a thing and bounce it around. And it's millions of miles away.
This is proper hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call that hard. Pah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy stuff. It's in the show notes. You can see it on the screen. That is actual footage from 179 million miles away as they're approaching the thing, and then they get to 40 meters up and then go like, all right, back off, let's just double test this. And they're even taking, because they got so close, they've never been this close, they're okay, now we're that close, now we took a lot of pictures, we're gonna get some eggheads in a room, and we're gonna analyze every last speck of dust that we can see there on every last rock, and just make sure that we've got the exact right vector, the exact right this, the exact right that, because you don't, if you screw this up, you don't get another go. So it's pretty amazing. So yeah, that's going to be super, super awesome. Hats off to you guys, and we are closer to the future than you think, my friends. And the last thing on the real science and slash, now see, this is not real science, but I do the show notes and I want to do it, so we're going to do it. I just got to say, big salute to the guys and gals of The Expanse. The Expanse got picked up for and already started pre-production on season 6. They started pre-production like a week or two ago on season 6, which is fucking amazing. Season 5 will probably drop on like December 14th or whatever, like mid-December. This is what they did last year. Season 5 will drop it. It's not announced yet. We don't have an announced date, but everybody's saying, yeah, it's going to be in September or in December. But season 6 is a go. And season 5, I've been waiting for it because season 5 is my absolute favorite. This is where the story goes crazy. So yeah. All right, Arson, your thoughts on The Expanse?
Yes, please. There is not, like, I'm a huge Battlestar Galactica, not original. Like, I could tolerate original, but I'm a huge modern Battlestar Galactica fan. The Expanse is the only thing that has made Battlestar Galactica be like, nah, I'll take this.
Right on.
Let's go Expanse.
Right. Right on.
It just, more seasons. In fact, I would appreciate it if they would just, I don't know, sign up for another 5 seasons and then run a few spin-offs, maybe some stuff in the past so we can get some of that lore build up. I can't get enough of it.
Good stuff. Tweet.
Yeah, I'm a huge Expanse fan. It's probably my number 1 or 2 sci-fi show out right now with The Mandalorian. Battlestar Galactica, I'll always say I love the original Battlestar Galactica way more than the more modern. I don't like really bullets in space. I want my lasers, I want my pew-pews, and I liked the characters better out of the original. Yes, it had that 70s, 80s hokiness to it, but that was part of the charm. The Vipers, the Cylons, they were better. I enjoyed the original way better.
All right. Scorbus, your thoughts?
Yeah, The Expanse is great.
Beautiful. Scorbus, your thoughts on this getting picked up?
I remember being heartbroken when the Sci-Fi Channel said that they were ditching The Expanse, and then being elated when Amazon picked them up with a bigger budget. I was like, yes! Yeah. And then I watched the season, and I have to say, it was wonderful. What am I saying? It was absolutely wonderful. And to see that it's like we've got the next season coming up, and then the season 6 has been picked up as well. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because it's hard sci-fi. It's good. It's grounded. Real good characters.
Yep.
Relatable stuff. And yeah, there's some freaky stuff in there. But you know what? Space is big. We don't know what's in there. But for our part, the human element, the science that's in there, with only a couple of little things. Yes, we invented this technology, and therefore it's changed everything. Okay, but everything else is bloody real. Absolutely everything else. Combat, like ships get full of holes because they're firing at each other. They're firing mass at each other. They're firing missiles, which are going to kill you if they hit you from miles away. It's not like elite close dogfighting, none of that stuff. But when it comes down to Battlestar Galactica, I love that, but I'm more of a Firefly guy.
Now you're speaking my language.
All right. We're already over time. We can't start a Firefly. All right, Arson, cue us up for the commercials and then go right into the video. I want to play like 2 minutes of the video here for the Elite Racer 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Championship. because I think the people need to see this.
You got it. I will take us in.
Welcome to the recap of the 215-kilometer Stage B in the Wasat system. Buckle up as we kick off with some of the opening shots of the 11 racers launching themselves into battle. 3, 2, 1, go. During the opening kilometers of the course,
Chassis integrity compromised.
Welcome to the Scarab Proving Grounds. Watch your favorite racer compete for victory while they boost their SRV across the planets at speeds of well over 100 meters per second. Tune in to the 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Championship broadcast during one of the 5 remaining races in the championship. Check out the Elite Racers subreddit for more details and a link to their Discord.
Chassis integrity compromised.
Do you have what it takes to leap dance your Scarab across the terrain at speeds of well over 100 meters per second? Do you understand that over the crater is the only option, no matter the size? Join the 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Championship and show the galaxy the size of your boosters. Check out the Elite Racers subreddit for sign-up details and a link to their Discord.
Beautiful. All right, so that we wanted you guys to kind of get an image or kind of a little information on that, because here's the thing. When I say like, oh, there's a race and it's whatever, people, it's real easy for people to go like, whatever. Okay, it's a race thing. You're just going to have the same cockpit footage, the same whatever. No. This is different. What they did was they have first off, they're using API keys so that they're tracking. So it's just like a real race where it shows like the positions of each person in the race. They're editing in footage here from some of its camera footage. They have, using those API keys, they're tracking the exact location of each of the competitors, and they have camera ships that are sort of following and watching along as they do their thing. And so you edit in like camera drone footage that is pulling up for each one on the outside and watching them do their stuff, mixing it in with cockpit footage from the SRVs as they're driving, flying, doing their thing. And on the side, you've got like a little sort of a ticker type listing of, you know, who's in first, who's in second, what their position is on the race, and what they're, you know, and you know, it's the time is clicking by. You've got scrolling along the bottom information about the stuff. and the guy is giving real time sort of calling out the race, and it's like watching a Formula One race or watching, NASCAR if it wasn't just slow left turns for all day. It's actually showing like the real shit, like a rally car race with a good announcer, and oh my god, this shit is awesome. So the full video is going to be in the show notes. Go check this out. This shit is fucking great. This needs to be an esport for this game. Frontier needs to be rebroadcasting this on their channel. They need to be getting this guy in, and they need to be setting up more events. They need to be giving out actual prizes, whether it's arcs or paint jobs or some kind of something. They need to be supporting the hell out of this, because if this catches on, like as dude, like I said, there's however many millions of people that watch NASCAR. They watch a bunch of men drive cars that are exactly made to be sort of the same and driving slow left turns for like fucking 12 hours. Like, this shit is way better, way more fun. This could legitimately be an esport, could be an eSIM sport, could start a whole actual thing. It's amazing. All right, so let's start with Arson. What do you think about all of this, man?
I think that it's fantastic. I was originally planning to participate, and I'm just going to kind of throw this out there since it is my turn anyways. But I'm super bitter that I didn't make the first couple races, because they're giving away these lovely trophies to the first 3 places. The races, number one, I went and started prepping for the first race thinking, I'm going to be good, because I placed 3rd in a 600 km rally race for the Hutton Truckers way back when Horizons dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Note for everybody that doesn't know, SRVs top out at 41 meters per second, 50 if you're really cruising. On the ground. But these people are doing what's called fliving, and they're getting well over 100 meters per second, and it's freaking crazy.
How?
So it's called fliving, and the way that you do it is you lift up off the ground in your SRV, preferably with a little bit of a bump. You want to get launched, and then you tilt your SRV about 45 degrees, and then you boost, and that upward boost pushes you forward as well as up. And if you're judicious with your boost usage, you can get ridiculously high speeds, maintain that airborne altitude for very long distances. And some of the speeds that they get up to, like, I did all right. The closest I got was like 70, 80 meters per second. I couldn't bust 100. So I don't even think that one of those 3 trophies would have been mine, unfortunately. But it's amazing. I may even go find a planet, and I'll try to do some fliving so people can see it on stream.
Yeah, man. So, and people on the stream, when we're done with this, go click on the video that I'm going to link for you, and we're going to get these guys in. I've already talked to them. We're going to get these guys in. We're going to talk to some of these guys, do an interview. This series is going to be going on for a good while. This is a good bit of stuff that is going on, and it's awesome. I'm going to be following every one of these. We're going to definitely be calling them out for these highlight videos, if nothing else. Like, I want to see it live and actually hear it being announced and whatever. But even if you're just like, that's a lot of investment to sit there and watch these guys for an hour or two. The highlight videos alone, we will be highlighting them every time one comes out. These are fucking amazing. You need to get in on this. Alec Turner is the one who brought this to me at first. He has done a phenomenal job of hyping it. It's being talked about sort of everywhere. So you're definitely going to see he's got sending out commercials and sending out whatever and getting people interested. And at first I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that's cool, man. That's, okay, it's a race thing. And I was thinking like, okay, it's going to be this sort of race thing where you're just looking at sort of the, outward camera footage. And don't get me wrong, it's awesome. It's definitely, you can see that it's skillful, but it's nowhere near as entertaining as this format that they have set up with the ticker, and you're watching all the people, and you've got camera drones that are tracking them, and you're literally seeing from the outside. that gives a much better view of what the hell it is these guys are doing, it's amazing. All right, Tweaked, what do you think?
These guys are nuts. They are absolutely crazy. I thought I sucked in my SRV before watching this. Now I know I suck in my SRV after watching this.
Oh yeah. All right, Scorb.
Like the level of skill that these guys are showing when they're driving their SRVs is incredible. But I'm also very interested in the technical stuff that they've got going on with the checking out where they are and what their position is. Because obviously I do the Type 9 race. And I do very similar things. So I have a track and I check people's position and calculate scores and things like that. This is obviously a much longer race. It almost looks like a Paris-Dakar kind of race.
Yep.
You know, going through the desert and stuff like that. And like Grey Test on the broadcast, he's always talking about you don't drive an SRV, you fly an SRV. But watching these guys do it, it's like they make it look so easy. And there's me. It's like I try and do that, and then there's a random rock, and it just comes. It wasn't there before, and I looked to one side. There was no rock. There was no rock for 100 miles, and then there's a bloody massive rock right in front of me, spins me around, and I go and lose all my progress.
I saw the whole thing. That rock swerved.
You're absolutely right, though. I mean, a month or so ago on ESPN, I turned ESPN on, and they were like broadcasting a couple of athletes playing NBA 2K or something like that. And I'm like, why do I want to watch this? Something like this, though? Oh, I'd be glued to my TV watching this kind of thing for a bit.
And the way the guy was announcing it was top notch. It was exciting. It was energetic. He knew what he was talking about. They had it set up with, the camera switching and the drones and all the stuff. This video needs to get all of the likes. So go and check this video out after the show. All right, we got to keep it moving, though, because we got a lot of stuff still to get to. All right. The next thing that we have on the agenda is, hold on one second. Let me pull this up. We did that. All right. The next thing, this one's going to get a little weird. I'm going to do this in a abbreviated format as much as I can. So just bear with me. I don't know, for those people who are paying attention, Trump signed an executive order into law not that long ago about, whatever, we got to stop the Chinese from whatever. It's an emergency act. It's this, that, and the other. And the Trump order would seem, on the face of it at least, to be going at and causing sort of an issue or a concern with Tencent. And the problem with that is that Tencent owns 9% of, they bought in and invested and have 9% in on Frontier. So theoretically, legally speaking, if you read the president's order, just on the face of it, it would seem to say that doing business with in any kind of sense, even, sort of just being playing, for them to be using the servers and whatnot to have Elite on in the US would be a legal problem. Like when you read it just on the face of it, it's like, oh, well, that could mean that Elite Dangerous is going to go away in America. And I was really, really sort of concerned on this, but I'm not a lawyer. So take everything that I'm about to say here with that grain of salt. I am not a lawyer. I do not know the law. I am not trying to tell you that I know the law. But this is information that I got from a lawyer who looked into all of this, and this is what he said. Number one, the press corps got off the record statement from the Trump staff that says that Trump does not want this to affect video games. He's going after chat apps and TikTok. So that's sort of a whole different thing. Number two, the executive order itself is overly broad and has already been challenged with a lawsuit filed in federal court on constitutionality. So we'll have to see what that, like the whole thing might just be, nope, that's illegal. Doesn't happen. Sorry. Number three, the order doesn't even define the scope, but rather states that the Commerce Secretary shall define the parties and transactions subject as they see fit in 45 days. Why you would make a rule and say that it's legally enforceable now, but we'll tell you what the rule is in 45 days? I don't know, but you're going to have to, whatever. Anyways, so in 45 days, is when we'll get from the Commerce Secretary, if this even affects this. The off-the-record stuff from the press corps seems to indicate, no, don't worry about it. We're not doing video games. This is about chat apps, which actually could be disturbing because that could make a major problem for Discord, who has received money from Tencent Games. But we'll have to look into that later as down the road in 45 days when we see what the secretary says they're even going after. Then you have to deal with the hurdle of the lawsuit. Is the whole thing even unconstitutional? Then you have to deal with the whole issue of how it's going to be, the scope and what it's going to be, how it's going to be defined. So whatever. But Tencent is a minority investor, 9%, not a primary. That would also need to be assessed because it might be that the way that they write it up, it doesn't go after that. So all of this is the long way of saying, number one, nobody even knows what it means yet, and we won't for 45 days until the Commerce Secretary says what it means. Number two, even then, there's a lawsuit that has to be cleared, and, you know, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that not all of the executive orders that have been passed under this administration have survived challenges in the courts. We'll see. And number three, this seems to be, the off-the-record hint seems to be, don't worry about it, this does not affect video games. So all of that, I'm not even going to ask everybody's opinions on that because it's all to be determined. We'll find out, but we need to keep it moving. So let's move on to Frontier News, where I am going to get everybody's opinions. Let's start. We're going to do this backwards. We're going to start with the streams. We normally do the patches, posts, then streams. But in this case, just because of chronology of how it worked out, we're going to do streams, then we're going to move back to the post, then we're going to move to the patch. All right. So let's start with the streams. There were 2 streams this week. The first was Super Cruise News, episode number 1, which was on Monday. It was a community stream with community manager stream with Bruce Garrido and Stephen Benedetti. And in that, we got another Brucey bonus. So we actually got a couple of Brucey bonuses on this. Number one, Bruce said, I gotta love my man Bruce, man. He is like, he's like, sometimes it seems like one of those videos where you have a hostage or whatever, and he's blinking out Morse code to get you bits of information. Fucking love Bruce. So he said, number one, they are looking at a rebalance of the entire game on credit earning, not like now, but as Odyssey times. He said, look, we're looking at, mining, combat, exploration, trade, mission running. We're looking at all of that. And he said that while we might not want in the end for it all to be exactly equal, that, it may be that they want to get it a little more sort of closer together. Arson, why don't you cue that one up?
We have seen the feedback that the various game loops need a bit of a rejigging. While it makes sense that perhaps mining makes more money than the others, that the gap could be too wide. We're not oblivious to all of that. What I would stress with the recent patches is that we've been trying to bring mining sort of into check rather than balance the whole game, though that is a discussion that we are having, and we are constantly thinking about this kind of stuff. But just to clarify, that's not really the intention of the latest patch, but we are fully aware of it, and there are conversations happening behind the scenes on our end.
Mm-hmm. So this is, I'm hearing some rumblings. I got some little birdies that are rumbling that just relax on the whole, this or that or the other, because things are getting looked at and things are getting reassessed, and a lot of the problems that people might sort of have might go away in the not too distant future. So just let's give them credit. They're moving in the right direction, and let's sit back and wait and see and chill a little bit. They were also asked about the Cobra Mark IV. Hey, when are we going to get the Cobra Mark IV or whatever? And they said, hey, look, legally speaking, we made a contract. We made a promise to the people who pre-ordered the Horizons and told them, you're going to get an exclusive. That's why you're pre-ordering this. You're going to get, or I think even within a little short time after it was released, but a limited time offer. If you get it now, you get the Cobra Mark IV. So they said, we can't break that. We can't go back and give it to you because then we'd be screwing over those people. And I respect that, man. They made a deal and they're sticking to it. You got to like a man who sticks to his word. That's good shit. But they said they kind of also learned from that experience, and they probably won't be looking to do those kind of exclusive limited time deals again in the future because, you know, you end up with what you have now. People who ask years later, I want that thing. And they don't really want to do that because it's not a good look for them. So they've learned. It's good. That's what life is. You make mistakes, you get better. Okay. They said they're looking into tritium to possibly make it more efficient. That's all I'm going to say on that because the story is going to continue shortly. And lastly, Arson, why don't you cue up the bit on the dev diary?
Incoming!
But not only that, I want to leave you all with something. Now, I know everybody's been dying to hear about what's going on with Elite Dangerous Odyssey. So I'm happy to announce that the first Elite Dangerous Odyssey development diary will be released on Tuesday, the 18th of August, which is this Tuesday coming. And you can join us on our Twitch channel at 6 UTC, which is 7 BST, so we can go deeper into the exploration of what's going on with that development diary, and we're going to have some really, really exciting special guests. So I feel like Jeremy Clarkson, I've just dropped that bomb.
All right, so there was a little bit of a miscommunication there. That what Arson just played was the clip from the next stream. So the clip from this stream was when Bruce said, "Oh, I don't think it would hurt for us to say that we can go ahead and announce on Thursday. We're going to announce on Thursday when this stream is." So that was a different thing, but that's okay. No worries, man. So then, so that was that stream. Then the Thursday stream, because they're doing twice a week now, was the Feature Commander DSSA stream. So they talked about the DSSA, which is the Deep Space Support Array. And in that, there was some more tritium talk. Again, we're going to table that just for the moment because we'll get to it. They plugged the Dark Wheel project in that video. So that was in that stream. So that was big thank you to Stephen Benedetti for plugging the Dark Wheel project again. And whenever you see the Frontier live stream, if you go into their Twitch stream, if you put !TDW, !TDW, it literally just brings up a link to the video and information on the Dark Wheel. It's good stuff, so I appreciate that. And then in that stream, while talking to the DSSA dropped a bit of news, which is that they're coming up with an app. They're going to have a thing through EDSM, where it's going to come up online soon, TM. And when it comes, they'll let you know. So just wait a little bit. And when it comes online, they're going to have like a little passport book. And every one of the carriers that's in the Deep Space Support Array is going to have its own little patch or a little stamp or a little thing. And you go, when you visit that carrier, you can collect that little stamp in your little passport book. And just like Pokemon, you got to catch them all. And once you get to all of the Deep Space Support Array carriers, I think it's going to unlock a special patch or badge or whatever for the Pokemaster badge of DSSA stuff. And that's going to be awesome. All right. That was a lot of stuff that I covered on the streams. Let's just break it up to here. We won't get into the patches or the notes yet. We're just going to talk about the streams. How about we start with Scorb? Your thoughts on all that?
On the streams, with
Yes.
the dev diaries.
Yep, all of it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I'm super excited by that. It depends on how much they'll let the devs show, but I'm a developer anyway, so I love seeing behind the scenes. So anything, 'cause I also follow another project which starts with an S and ends with an N. We won't talk about it, but they do dev diaries all the time, and it's really good to see the problems that the devs are facing and how they're making progress with it. as well. So it depends on what they show us. But I'm going to be watching that like a hawk anyway. I'll be happy watching that because we've been starved of news. Now this Odyssey got promise of yes, this is coming, and now we get to see how it's made, and I love that stuff.
I'm gonna let you in a little secret on how we do our stream, Scorbius. I think all of that, I'm team this, I'm team that. That's fucking stupid. That's childish. We don't do that here. So we will probably talk about Star Citizen or No Man's Sky or any other game, and we wish them well, because in the end, Star Citizen doing well just means that they're going to push Elite to do better, and Elite doing well will push Star Citizen. So you can absolutely talk about Star Citizen all you like.
That makes me happy then, because it's a great project. And I wish them both well. And anybody who does have this tribal thing, know this: Chris Roberts and David Braben are mates.
Yes. Buddies in the American parlance. In American parlance, when you say mates, that means that, well, never mind. All right. But yeah. Like we're not, all that, I'm team Apple, I'm team Google OS or whatever it's like, or PlayStation versus Xbox. I don't have time for that shit. We're grown-ups. If you can't be a rational adult and say, I like what I like, you like what you like, it's no big deal.
You're a grown-up. Are farts still funny?
Yes.
Well, then you're not a grown-up.
Okay, fair enough.
And bless you, sir.
All right. Arson, your thoughts on all the stream stuff. Stream stuff only.
A little warning there.
You're far away from the mic, bro.
Oh, it would help if I had my boom down. I'm enjoying the streams. I have to go back. Just the amount of communication that we're getting is fantastic. The amount of engagement that we're getting is fantastic. Not really a whole lot more I can say about it, to be honest.
Beautiful.
Just keep more.
Tweet.
Yeah, I would agree. You can definitely see we're getting more and more communication than what we have over the past couple of years. Like you said, I'm happy, honored that they keep their word about the Cobra Mark IV. They made a promise to those people, and they're keeping it, and that pleases me. There's nothing worse than going back on their word. And besides that, I know people that have the Mark IV, and I don't think I want it anyways, to be totally honest. But
well, I mean, even if it's something that I want, I more than anything, I want to be able to have respect and trust in a game that if they promise me they're going to do something, they say what they mean, they do what they say.
That's right.
They said it was going to be exclusive. Just keep to it. As much, I would like to have the Cobra Mark IV, but I'm just crazy. I'm a Poke Master. I want to have them all. All right, let's move on real quick to the other two things, which are the posts and patches. So we'll just say post today. There was a couple of posts. The first was Tritium buff. Basically, the long and the short of it is, while they fixed mining in, i.e. adjusted mining to the rate that they want it to be at, it's a situation that it had the unintended consequence of making it harder on Tritium, harder to fill your tank and get going. So as a result, what they've decided to do is they're going to double the efficiency of all Tritium. Now, this post was made by Paul, who is the 4th community manager. So we have Arthur, who's the lead community manager. We've got Stephen Benedetti. We've got Bruce. So it's Arthur Tolmie, Stephen Benedetti, Bruce Garrido, and now we have Paul. And Paul came to us from the Planet side, Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, Planet all of the things, and a trade for Tim, because they needed a lead CM over there. So he went over there to be the lead, and we got Paul. And Paul, some of you will remember, was an old school. He was in some of the early streams of Elite, and he's been subsequently working very diligently and very well over on the Planet side, doing all those games. And he is sort of a big time guy on the forums. He's real heavy on the forums. He does a lot of forum work, and that's great. That will sort of kind of round out that aspect of the Elite team. So we look forward to more information and more stuff from him. But in the end, the long and the short of it is, they posted that, then they posted later today. They tweeted about they knew that they were having connection issues, and tweeted again a couple hours later that okay, it's resolved. That's great. But the post that you see there on the screen says it went live already. Like, so they were saying, hey, this just happened. It's already in. It's not going to be a dot patch. It's up now. If you jump a fleet carrier and it was going to take 50 tons of tritium for that jump, now it's going to take 25 tons of tritium for that jump. Your tritium, your go juice works twice as much. You get twice as much go per ton of juice, which actually in the end means that you get more than twice as much. It's more than twice as efficient in the end, because what people are doing with their carrier is putting 1,000 tons in the tank and then 15,000 tons in the, storage hold. And when you look at that overall, you have to factor in the amount of weight of what you're carrying is going to lower your jump range too. It's going to lower, or it's going to increase the amount of gas that it takes or fuel that it takes for each jump, because part of it's based on the weight. So if you can, instead of needing 20 tons of tritium to get out to X location, now you need 10 tons of tritium. That means your whole carrier is going to be 10 tons or 10,000 tons lighter rather, which means that it's going to be much more efficient in the end. You're going to need a smart guy to work out the math and show you what it comes out to. But in the end, they're making it, if you're just going on 1,000-ton tank, it's twice as efficient. But in reality, if you're going on 1,000-ton tank plus 20,000 tons in the hold of fuel, you're getting way more efficient the farther you go out. I'm not sure if I explained that in a way that is in any way cognizant or understandable to people. But this is a situation where it's like, this is huge. This is massive. This is, I think, exactly what they needed to do. Now, with regard to people that are complaining that, well, mining still sucks. No, dude, you need to get over your shit. Mining was way too broken good. It was unbalanced. It was to the point where everyone knew it was imbalanced, which is why everyone was doing nothing but mining, because everyone knew that crazy overly good had to go away. So everybody wanted to make hay while the sun shined. Well, guess what? The sun went down as it was meant to. And mining is now sort of where it's supposed to be. The one caveat, the one asterisk I would put to that is, I really, really wish that in fixing mining and making it to where you weren't making stupid amounts of money, but were making really good money, I wish that they had not made it such that the best mining right now is mindlessly laser mining painite. They did so many cool things to bring in subsurface deposit mining and core mining to make those strong. I really, really wish that it would they would still emphasize those, but make it to where, like, those paid a little bit more than the painite, but still not crazy, stupid, broken, whatever. And with regard to the last thing on this, people are still complaining, but I want you to give me welfare tritium. I want you to make it to where I can just get as unlimited amounts of tritium from 80,000 different vendors, where it's artificial tritium coming from, the game. So that just give me all of it unlimited for free. No, that's dumb. They gave us for the first time a commodity that we can sell to each other, that we actually use, and the tools to use it, i.e. tritium that we can sell to each other to use, and fleet carriers, commodity markets that you can sell stuff. They gave us the tools to build our own functional economy. Now they have to get the fuck out of the way with the NPCs and let us build our own functional economy. So I am 100% in favor of the artificial NPC crazy tritium sort of like evaporating. Go away. Now let's build our own tritium economy. Let's do it for realsies. All right, that's everything I had on that. Let's start with Arson. Your thoughts on all of that?
I'm really excited about it. When carriers were first released in beta, I very quickly came to the conclusion that we needed 10 times tritium efficiency, which from the original value of 1 ton per light year, that puts you at about 500 tons for a 500 light year jump. And then they increase the efficiency, bringing it down to 250, and now they've done it again, bringing it to 125. 10 times on the original stat would have left you with 100 tons of gel. The interesting part about it, though, is the sheer difference in range. You can now go on a carrier loaded with nothing but tritium. You're looking at going about 108,000 light years. So you can go all the way to Beagle Point from the bubble and most of the way back. Unfortunately, I have seen a lot of people that have been participating on DSSA, because I went through the forum thread today, that were really, really genuinely upset about it, because they feel that that kind of range travel on a carrier basically makes the mining ops and all the organization and all that stuff obsolete. But I want to take a moment to outline the silver lining, so to speak, and kind of throw a challenge to the DSSA. Mm-hmm. You've got all of these current NPC stations out there. These stations have market demands. We know that if you impact a station enough, you can affect it in some ways. We see over time outfitting supply and then drop out of markets in certain areas. I challenge the DSSA, instead of looking at it like, oh, I only have to load up tritium once and then my carrier's in place. Use that network. Take advantage of that opportunity. Stock tritium on those network carriers. The carriers that are then coming through, that are traveling around, they can then stop at your carriers in the DSSA and fill up on more fuel, so that they can say use 20,000 of that 25,000 and only carry 5,000 reserve tritium, and bust across through the network, stop at a DSSA carrier, refuel, and then move to, say, Explorer's Anchorage and offload a whole bunch of commodities that wouldn't be able to get there otherwise, and see, can you make that the most badass station in the universe? That's my challenge to the DSSA.
That's really cool when you talk about basically using the DSSA as not only just a ship gas station, but a fleet carrier gas station, so that you can have fully stocked, loaded carriers, trading carriers of commodities that can do massive projects and force project all the way out there. That's some interesting shit. That's good stuff.
Before this change, that wasn't possible because it took too much tritium, too much time. Mm-hmm. You needed your entire cargo bay full to get to your destination if you were going to a really far area from the bubble or Colonia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get it.
But now you can dedicate cargo space to cargo instead of
That's
fuel.
Interesting. All right, Tweaked.
Yeah, well, I come off as I get accused of being a FDEV fanboy quite often, and I am. I'll admit I am. But this is exactly why. They listened to their community. They identified that the community had correctly identified a problem. They looked at the best way to fix the problem, and they did it. And what they've done in doing so is they have now reopened the galaxy with the fleet carriers, so that people are going to take chances. People are going to say, okay, this is much more efficient. Now I can try to get to this point of the galaxy that we've never been to before, mine some tritium, and then try to get over to this point of the galaxy. Whereas the last couple of weeks, I don't think people would have been willing to try that kind of stuff. So I think this is going to open up a lot of things again.
Okay.
And as far as the player economy part that you were talking about, I agree. The tritium, selling it to the fleet carriers, is the start of a player economy. I don't know that the NPC, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, do the NPCs really fuel that much? Do they do that much where it would actually prohibit that?
So it used to be that you could just, because it was broken, they would just keep giving out unlimited. The supply, remember how supply and demand was broken? So the supply never went down. So the demand for low temperature diamonds was always as high as it could be, and the supply of tritium was always as high as it could be. So you could just fill up over and over and over and over and over on 4,000 per ton tritium, and it was welfare cheese. It was just take as much as you like. Now it's mostly dried up. It's to the point where it's there. You can get it on sort of the expensive side, and you can get it from the medium pad stuff or whatever. But the super crazy, stupid, cheap tritium has been snatched up, and it comes at a trickle. But it's 2 here, 2 tons here, 10 tons there, 15 tons. It's not like, okay, give me 750, and then I'll be right back.
Right.
So yeah. All right, Scorb, your thoughts.
All right, I think you've covered a lot of the stuff about, the economy. Oh, I will add one thing about the economy. Like, coming from an EVE Online background where everything was a player-driven economy, freaking loved that. Absolutely loved that. And if something like that was to come to Elite, I don't think it would do any harm. I think it would actually be really good.
Yes.
But I will also like to say, though, anybody who looks at all of these patches that have been coming out of Frontier and going, oh, another patch. Oh, God, another patch. Why can't they just fix their shit? They need to understand how complex that procedural generation system is for that and the entire Milky Way. So it's not just like you can fix one thing and then that will just fix that one thing. You're fixing the procedure that generates that. And you've added another material as well with the tritium, which is why, it's probably why tritium got so heavily affected when they were trying to rebalance the other materials. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done more testing. Obviously, you can never do enough testing, but I would not like to be on that development team, and I'm a developer. It's really, really freaking hard, and I take my hat off to them. I'm really glad they're listening to the community. I'm glad that we're starting to see some progress now as well. So that's where I'm going to leave that, because I'll take my hat off to them. Congratulations. Well done. It's been hard. Thank you for your attention. Let's all just play and enjoy the game.
Yeah, and to add to that real quick, what people don't understand too is when they do patch it and they fix one part of the game, whether it be the tritium or anything else, everything they fix, each system in this game is connected to the next system in this game. So when they fix one thing, it inevitably is going to change all the BGS or the population of the core asteroids or all these other things that all kind of goes together. So when they tweak one thing, it's going to affect everything else. And it's what they're doing is, in my mind, almost magic, what they've created here.
Yeah, no, 100%. And in the end, it's like, oh, wow, that's like my neighbor that's quitting smoking for the 10th time or whatever. It's like, yeah, but he's still trying, right? He's still, so like, give him credit for that. Like, it's the problem is when you stop doing stuff, when stuff is broken and you just ignore it. So it's like, it's a situation of, yeah, they're working, they're plugging away. It's little by little, and it is what it is. All right. So that is the news. That is the huge news as of today. Tritium is, in my mind, fixed. Now, some people are saying, it's too easy, we don't like it. And other people are saying, it's too hard, I don't like it. You know what? You're never going to please all of the people. But I think that everybody that's willing to put on their big boy pants and deal with shit as it is going, fair enough. This is good. This is, maybe a little better than I thought we were going to get, or maybe not, just a little bit not as good as I thought I was going to get, but it's in the ballpark of right. And so now it's not a matter of, before it was broken, now it's a matter of personal opinion. It's a matter of personal taste. I happen to think that it ended up pretty goddamn good. So,
Yep. I tell guys that, living in space is supposed to be hard. Living in a galaxy like this is not easy. And everybody wants everything to come easy. And to me, the whole object of this game is to create a life in this universe. And that's what it is. You got to work for what you want to have.
There you go. All right. So we're going to move on. We're going to skip the next section and push that to next week. We're tight on time. We're going to go to the next one, which is, what does my disconnect code mean? So Frontier Customer Support put out a little post, and it breaks down, this is what a MOV adder is. This is what a purple Python. This is an orange Sidewinder. And it's like, this is the connect code for this. This is the code for the adjudication server. This is the code for this. This is the code for that. And a lot of people have been passing that around and talking about it this week. And I've heard a lot of people going like, huh, that's interesting, but like, I don't know what that means. They're just saying, it failed to connect to this or failed to connect to that. And they're like, I don't know what this is, or I don't know what that is. So we're going to skip right past that. It's there. It's in the show notes for you to see it. You can see it right now on screen. And as it's not just that, there's more to it when you scroll down where it shows, like, it kind of explains some more stuff. But to people like me who are not sort of developers and are not sort of super savvy about that shit, you kind of, your eyes glaze over and you're like, okay, that's words. I don't know what they mean.
Well, it's good information, but there's nothing we can do with it. No matter what error we get, we still do the same thing. We go back to the menu and hit start again and try to get in again. So,
but for people who want to sort of understand a little better,
sure, great.
That's where I get to the next thing, which is the video, Arson, AWS reInvent 2015, game 403, from 0 to 60 million player hours in a 400 billion star system. It's a 51-minute long video. I recommend for everyone, check this video out. It's going to be in the show notes. This was from back in 2015. This was Dav Stott with a head full of hair, looking so young and earnest, and one of the game producers there was there, and they go through how the Elite Dangerous, sort of the whole system, the architecture, how it works, and it's super, super, super interesting. And Dav kind of goes through, and he's like, okay, well, let's say you want to go do this. Two guys want to go fly out and they want to start mining. Well, you got to spin up a server for this, and then this server connects to that, and then this adjudicates that. And they go through with charts and sort of graphs and explain step by step. And they show, okay, this is he had all these different terminologies, like this runs on this, and this runs on that, and this runs on this. And then these servers spin up, and then the servers that we spin up, we have to kill those servers when, like, everybody's sort of left. So, but we need to have really smart sort of traffic cop programs that, like, don't kill a server if somebody's still on it, because that's bad news. But when everybody leaves, then spin it. So they talk about how they spin up and kill all these dynamic servers that they run on the what do you call that? The Amazon server system farm, whatever.
Yeah, Amazon Web Services.
There you go, AWS. And then, they talk about how they do the P2P stuff, and they talk about how all of the different pieces between the P2P stuff and then the stuff that's actually on servers and stuff that's on their end, how all of these things sort of interconnect. It's crazy, crazy interesting. It's crazy, crazy in-depth. It's almost an hour long. I understood bits of it just by looking at the graph and staring like a dumb Marine and going, okay, that connects to that. All right, that I get. The other stuff, you lost me. But I think that people should look at these two things in connection to each other, because one without the other is if you just have like, oh, here's these disconnect codes. I feel like that's like, okay, I don't know what to do with that information, but okay. But when you take that and you put it with this video, you're like, oh, I get it now. And I think we've already been told from the investor meeting last October that Odyssey represents a significant update to the underlying code base. A lot of this is going to change and get like whatever, but it's really good to know where it came from back in 2015 when they developed it. So take a look at that, and I think people might find it super, super interesting. Arson, your thoughts?
I saw that back when it originally came out, and being a developer myself, I was super interested in it. But things like what they present in this, the level of architecture, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't spout off details this far out, but the detail that they go into, it makes you look at the game and be like, holy crap, the amount of scalability. It's mind-blowing, and it's one of the reasons why, as far as I'm concerned, Yeah, Star Citizen's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome experience. But there is not a game on this planet that has the potential that Elite does, and I cannot wait to see what it's like at the end of the 10-year plan.
Okay. Yeah. Like all this stuff. They're like, oh, this runs on Mungo and this runs on this, and I'm just kind of like, huh. But it's when they get to the graphs and they show like, here's a ship, and then they show here's another ship, and then this links to that, and then this goes to this server, and then this and that, and this overlays here. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm starting to see the Matrix, and it's really, really cool shit.
Yeah, databases are actually my specialty, where I have the most experience, and a majority of that is about the databases. So if you are a BGS nut, this will give you some insight on how the systems that handle those daily ticks are working in the back end.
Beautiful. All right, Scorb, your thoughts?
I've actually had the pleasure of meeting and chatting to Dav at a couple of LaveCons, and I know he's a
Hashtag
brain.
jealous.
He's so clever. He's so smart. And I was chatting to him about the server architecture that was using. It was just like chit chat because you know I'm a dev as well, and he was talking about all the the transaction servers and are different to the servers that tell you where you are and tell you what's going on around you when you first go into an instance, like into a star system or something like that. And we just had a little chat, and like even though I know what I'm talking about, like he was like, I'm like, this guy is just so freaking next level. I don't even feel I'm qualified to even talk. I was like, all that came out of my mouth was, "Do you want to be a mate?" It's all I could muster.
That's because that's the thing with Dav, man. It takes like you don't recognize it at first. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, whatever," and then like 5 minutes into the conversation, you're like, "I'm sitting here with fucking Neo. This dude sees the Matrix." Like,
yeah, he doesn't see the code anymore. He sees blonde, brunette, redhead. That's what he sees.
Yeah. Tweaked.
Yeah, I've got a little man crush on Dav. I gotta admit, this dude has to be a genius IQ. I mean, he is amazing when he describes this stuff. If anybody is interested in, if you enjoyed this video, there's a BGS video with Dav where he sits down and he breaks down how the system works and how everything affects everything else. And I swear to God, it's like being in a college course, sitting down at, BGS 201 or something like that. It's intense. It's confusing for people that don't understand it, but it's a great watch. We'll have to dig that up and share it in the Discord or something. But yeah, looking at how this was put together and everything, and just listening to him, it just makes you appreciate the effort and the knowledge that goes into building a game like this.
Right on, 100%. All right. Does anybody else have to add on this subject before we move on? Everybody good? Beautiful. All right. Next up, we have a trio of videos from Matthias. I'm never sure on that. It's Mattius. This guy is the sort of crazy good video of like Raxa going down the rabbit hole, whatever. Him and Guru 951 are the two that it's like, man, I get into their videos and it's like, ooh, I'm going down the rabbit hole. So he's got 3 videos out that we want to highlight. Raxa the Great Construct, Elite Dangerous Theory, Lights in Witch Space, and Raxa Theories The Signal. Raxa Theories The Signal just dropped today. So Raxa the Great Construct talks about all kinds of stuff with the Guardians and some theories that tie in between the Guardians and Raxa and all of that stuff. It's super interesting. And it has some stuff with Van Marnen Star that you might want to take a look at, and it's I don't know, it's some stuff that is super interesting. There's some play on words there and some things that it's like, I wonder about this, I wonder about that. So that one is interesting for that reason. The Elite Dangerous Theory, the Lights in Witch Space, that one kind of refers to the whole Jasmina Halsey thing, how she saw the caretakers of the galaxy that were, both fleeting yet eternal, and tiny yet massive, and blah blah blah. And then also the Gan Romero thing, who he also kind of went out there and looking at these lights in witch space. And the one from today, actually, I found to be the most mind-blowing of the three. Super, super interesting. Everyone should check this video out. Raxa theories, the signals. He's talking about how you say, the signals, the whispers in witch space. Okay, well, what's the one massive thing that sort of dominates our entire galaxy? SAG-A. And he talks about the fact that there's a signal coming from SAG-A, and he actually shows it on the screen. The signal, if you put it through a spectrometer or whatever, it shows this kind of image that looks like sort of like going between these two rocks, almost like you're passing between like the straits of like the Suez Canal, like the Straits of Gibraltar or whatever. Like, it's this interesting image, and it ties into a ton of different things. He talks about the toast, and how like all of these things, they keep coming back to like SAG-A, and he's like, what if there's a star somewhere in the very near sort of proximity to SAG-A that we're unable to see or whatever for some reason, but Frontier is throwing us all these hints about this code. He talks about this, like, it's crazy. It's interesting. You need to see it. That of all of them, that signal one really, really got me, and it's got my mind percolating on all kinds of ideas. And I would love for thousands and thousands of eyeballs to go see that video, and somebody to tick onto an idea that like piggybacks onto that cracks something wide open. Let's start the other way around this time. Let's start with Scorb. Your thoughts on this?
Sagittarius A, or as Captain Spatcher calls it, Sagittarius. There's got to be something there. Well, it's right there. It's been dominating the center of the Milky Way forever. Holding everything together. Whether that's telling us something about Raxa, I don't know. Whether it's just noise that we're interpreting as a signal, I don't know. What I do know is I wasn't aware of Matthias. At least I don't think I was, and I have now subscribed to his channel. So
Beautiful.
Thank you for that.
You're actually, you say that. Thank you for that. Get back to me in a week after you watch his videos. You're going to be really thankful. This guy is amazing. Tweet.
Yeah, put your tinfoil hats on before you watch these videos. You go down the rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, man.
Some intriguing stuff. Who knows if there's anything to it, but I mean, this is some next level conspiracy theory kind of digging in, trying to find this stuff.
Yeah. I want to see a buddy cop movie of just Matthias and Guru 951 fighting crime by night, searching for Raxa by day. Arson
with Ghost Giraffe as laser cops.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. All of that. Definitely all of that, please. Ghost Giraffe was hilarious. I thought the whole thing was fascinating. Unfortunately, I had to watch it while I was also cooking and dealing with my child. Was it you target SAG-A?
Yeah, there's a whole.
To it?
So there's a signal that goes out that actually travels farther out than just in the system. But when you get into the system, it's super.
Gotcha. So you need to go there.
But then there's other stuff with the this video just came out today. Nobody needs to feel bad for not having seen it. I'm just a nut. But like, after this show ends, go see it. It's gonna be 12 minutes of your life that you're gonna be like, oh, I'm glad that I watched that. That's some good shit. So yeah, for sure, check it out. All right, next up, we've got Down to Earth Astronomy. We're going to hit this one super fast. He put out a painite mining guide. I cannot bring myself to even find any fucks to give. But for those people who are like, well, I want to get into mining and I'm not whatever, I can't give any fucks because I've lived through this before. I know everything there is to know about mining painite with the lasers or whatever. But he's Down to Earth Astronomy, so he does an amazing job of explaining it. He does. Poor Down to Earth, man. They keep coming back to like, okay, laser mine more painite, and he's like, I'm going to have to do another guide. So, like, but he does. He gets it. He brings it out. He says, okay, this is the state of things now. And it's like, literally, it's like, even in this video, you can see he says it. He's like, all right, I kind of already did this guide before, but here's some updated this, here's updated that. He shows the thing and he's like, yeah, here's the link to before when I made this ship. And but I mean, he breaks it down beautifully, 100%, incredibly well. And I think that I happen to know from personal experience of talking to him privately, he's also, I think, along those same lines of like, can we not get back to the funner ways of doing stuff, the core mining and the subsurface deposit. But right now, if you really want to go get their credits, go make credits, go laser mine painite for the highest number of just credits per hour. It's a thing. All right. So go check it out. The link is going to be in the show notes for all of those people that have been playing Elite, that were playing Elite before January of this year. So that have been playing and were mining, 8 months ago. You're going to remember everything because it's exactly what you were doing for months on end. We're back to that. All right.
Just in a different spot.
Yes. Next up, we've got Cass and Cherry VR Elite Dangerous on Yaw VR game. Oh wait, I saw this. I skipped everybody. I'm so sorry. Does anybody have anything? I'm sure probably nobody does, but do you have anything that you want to add to the painite laser mining discussion? Anyone?
I'll just add one thing. Down to Earth Astronomy is awesome. He's been in one of my videos as this kind of like a guy who knows everything, and he's the guy you go to for information. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're new to the game, go check out Down to Earth Astronomy. He is absolutely fantastic. That's all I'll say on that.
Yes, I will say, because it sounded rather flippant when I said I have no fucks to give. It's not to Down to Earth. Down to Earth is amazing, and I love him. It's to the fact that I'm just so sick of laser mining painite. But Down to Earth is the single greatest guide maker in Elite Dangerous. Go and check his stuff out. He is the best. I love you, man. Go ahead, Arson.
I crashed into a planet just at the thought of having to talk about painite laser mining. Astro's freaking amazing, though.
Yeah. Tweaked?
I don't have anything to add to mining, period. I got burnt out doing core mining, so if I'm doing any mining, it's laser mining, and I can't even bring myself to go do that at this point. So
programming limpet node. Programming limpet drone, not node. God damn it, I can't even get that right.
Dun dun dun. I guess I should show the clip of the VR.
Yeah, jump into the bit a little bit into it where it's showing the chair moving
around.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play the first like 30 seconds or so without audio, so you can go ahead and talk about it.
All right.
I did actually see this, so go on. Sorry, this is exciting.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So basically, they got this little egg pod chair, which doesn't look very ergonomic, but whatever. The amazing thing is, like, I think you could build a sort of better chair into it, but it's this chair set up with the rollers and all that, such that as you're flying Elite in VR, your chair is going to be, moving around, so you get the actual physical feel of like you're flying around. It's going to be jostling you and shaking you and tilt back and tilt forward and tilt left and tilt right and all that shit. It looks super, super cool. So scroll just a little bit past Arson into the video where it shows her like actually going close to the chair, maybe.
Slobs unfortunately does not give me scroll control.
All right,
but mind. I can let it play while we talk about it.
Yeah. So super, super interesting. It's like, oh, I want one of those. I cannot have one of those because it literally says in the thing that it is only for people up to like 6'1" or 6'2" or something, and I'm 6'7", so like I'm out automatically. But god damn, that looks cool. Let's start with Scorb. Your thoughts on the chair, man?
It looks really interesting. There are some downsides, which they talk about later on in the video, where you can lose tracking because your chair's moved and the game doesn't know your head's moved, so it thinks you're looking around, so you have to compensate for that. But as a concept, as something that you could have in your house, it looks nice and tidy, quite compact, so it's very tempting. and not massively cheap. It's like it's
Yeah, it was a
about
couple grand.
Yeah.
Well, the
But-
one was $1,000, and then the Pro was like $2,000, like 1950.
Yeah, 1,500 and 2,000 US dollars.
Oof.
Yeah.
I was looking at the as well, same as you. I was looking at the the height and the weight specs for it. I'm like, I'm borderline. I'll burn that out in 6 months probably. Either that or wring my own neck on the cable.
That
As
is
a
one of the
spin around.
things that she actually mentioned was that
The cable management.
Yeah, cable management, but also that there are a few reports online of people burning out the engines. Or the motors, rather.
That's just motivation right there to hit the gym and drop a few pounds.
Hey, amen to that.
Whoa, look at it. Look at her about to tip over there.
If that was me, that'd be me on my face, pretending to be a tortoise with a red shell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be playing Squirtle in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But it's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome. I want one.
I mean, it has to be said that VR is the most immersive way to play Elite Dangerous, and if you've got that with, so if you can feel the acceleration and the gravity, I don't know how they quite done that. 'Cause, there's no gravity in the ships in Elite Dangerous, so as you approach a star, if the star is in front of you, you should feel a tremendous pull towards the glass of your asp or whatever it is, and your chair is pinning you in. So, and as you turn around the star, if the star's below you, then you're being pulled down in your chair. If it could do stuff like that, because I feel that the way that they've got it implemented is going to be like, yes, you're on Earth and it's like a dogfight, and you're going to be feeling the sensations as if you're flying over the ground. That would be my worry.
I think just anything that brings it into more of a whatever is, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. So just getting the tilting and the spinning feel is huge. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Gravity wells are still a thing that would not be sort of, and also inertia and like literally just, okay, you hit a massive acceleration in real life. If you hit a massive acceleration, it's going to rock you back into that chair.
Mm-hmm.
But who's to say that with the lore they can't write in now? Okay, now we have discovered a way to have in-ship gravity, because that's going to come into play not only for this but for VR Odyssey too. If we get to walk around our ships, are we going to be floating around our ships, or are we going to be walking to our
that's a
cabin in the back? So
that's a thing. That's a thing that'll have to be worked out, because I think you're probably going to go the expanse route of saying, you've got the mag boots, you can walk around in your pumps, and then if you turn off the mag boots for some reason, now you're talking about VR in a sort of free form floating situation with handholds everywhere, and kind of like grabbing your way, like when you see these guys on the space station or whatever, where they're quite often walking
do they want to do
hands.
that? Do they want to put all the work in that's going to do that, or do they want to put a GALNET story out saying that we've discovered this new way to have gravity in our ships, and just have, boom, you can walk around now?
Well, they made a decision a long time ago to say there's no gravity on the ships. They wanted to stay as true to science as possible.
Now, keep in mind, though, that, you say, do they want to do all that work? I would say there's some games that you can look into. Deliver Us the Moon is a cheap little game that they had in there where you could, parts of it you were walking around, but other parts of it you were, you could float around or whatever. What was that other VR game where you were on the space station, like floating around?
They showed it on the Odyssey. Or not the Odyssey, but the Obsidian Ant video. Using the handrails to grab and pull yourself around and stuff.
That's not impossible to do, is all I'm saying.
No, not impossible, but also not easy, I would imagine. So,
all right. So, does anybody else have any thoughts on this chair situation before we move on? Because we're getting way over on time. Nope. All right. So next up, discussion topic. We're just going to do one discussion topic for tonight. We're going to move the other one, and we're going to hold back on the discussion, like reading out last week's stuff, and we're going to do them both next week on next week's show. But discussion topic number one. Last week we talked about, hey, Frontier, give us bookmarks. Give us, the folders so that we can do bookmarks how we want them. Give us the ability to sort them as however we want, unlimited bookmarks or whatever, and different colors and filters and different stuff for bookmarks. So this week, looking back at that, because some of the feedback that we got, one of the feedback that we got was like, well, they're not going to want it because of this, that, and the other. And another thing that we were talking about was a sort of EDMC, using EDMC and using Python to push through EDMC, a sort of in-cockpit jukebox or recorder player that you could, play episodes of Elite Week, or play episodes of Lave Radio, or play, a Down to Earth Astronomy video, or an Ascorbius stream, or whatever. Let's look at the idea of, okay, if Frontier's not giving us this, and we've been asking for it and asking for it and asking for it, how can we do it for ourselves? So I challenge you out there, those people out there that know how all this stuff works, and those people who don't, that just have maybe ideas like myself that want to throw out stuff and say, what about this? And people go, hey, that could work. Or people go, hey, you're stupid. But whatever, it's ideas. We throw it to the wall and we see what sticks. What about the idea of a fan-made ultimate bookmark app that runs through EDMC? So number one, now this is using the API to pull stuff, but it's carrying your stuff client side that will show like, okay, I can just make hundreds and hundreds of bookmarks. And I can sort them however I want. I can have a folder that just says, these are all engineers, and this is all my BGS stuff, and this is my Distant Worlds 2 folder, and this is my, rare mats, gathering mats folder, and this is my, this expedition or that expedition, or this thing or that thing, or this aspect, or, my buckyball one, or whatever. And then, you could use different sort of filters in the galaxy map or in the system maps to like show them up as a different symbol or a different color or a different whatever. And all of this could be sort of overlaid through EDMC onto the game. So it would run through the EDMC bar, that menu bar, but it would bring up a thing and show you, all of the stuff. So that's just my idea of basically saying, wait, what if we modify our request? Since we've been asking for this for forever from Frontier, what if we ask how the community could make it? Let's start with Tweaked. Your thoughts on that?
How the community could make it? Well, I would say that's a great idea, but they'd have to make sure that it works for all three consoles, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, that it would work for everybody that plays Elite Dangerous. A lot of this kind of stuff I feel like would work great on a PC, but might not be transferable to the consoles.
Well, this is stuff that would be running through EDMC, so I think it pretty much would just be PC. I don't think the consoles have access to EDMC.
Right, which I don't think that would be good for the health of the community, really, because then you're going to get more elitism. No pun intended.
Okay. All right. Arson, your thoughts on this idea?
I personally would very much like it, and
Arson?
Sorry, y'all couldn't hear me, but everybody else could. I like the idea. I would very much like to see it. And on the console note, I would offer the counter argument that, number one, there is nothing stopping a console commander with a laptop or a computer or a smartphone capable of running Windows apps, which is possible from throwing EDMC on. And there is also the possibility of making a mobile version of the app for console players as well. The key thing would just be getting Frontier to expose whatever information we might need in the API.
Well, don't they already have the API exposed for console players? So it would just be a matter of a console player would need to figure out how to dedicate like a tablet or a laptop or whatever to running it, and then just set up the system. And once you get it, it would be kind of a pain in the ass to set up the first time, but once it's set up, then it's set up, right?
Yeah, but don't let the consoles, the image of a console fool you. I mean, I see images on Reddit all the time of people taking their console and turning it into a HOTFIX pit So I'm sure we'll see people that are playing on console that would actually take the time to get it set up.
Okay. All right. And Scorb, your thoughts?
I'm on record as being someone who actively doesn't like using third-party tools for things unless I have absolutely no choice. And for bookmarks, really? Bookmarks? Like sorting them and coloring them and things? Why isn't that in the game right now? Why isn't that like this is a hill that I will die on. Like that stuff, the community should not have to fix that. That's something that is on the front end, and the front end team could go, you know what, Bob, your task this week is to make it so that they can sort their bookmarks, if nothing else. Oh, and give them twice as many. Put them into folders because they've done it with messages. They've
And
done
it'd be
it
fairly
with...
easy, I would imagine, right? It
It's
wouldn't
a
be
piece
that
of
hard.
piss. Like I'm a dev. It's a piece of piss to do that. You've got a series of data. It's already got some kind of categorization in there. You're just grouping it and then choosing how you render those groups. It's not hard. Why does that have to be the community's responsibility to make that into a usable thing? I'm sorry, hill I will die on. That has to be in game. Ha!
I would love it to be in game. I've asked for it repeatedly from multiple community managers, and every time I bring it up, they go, "Oh, that sounds like a great idea. We'll look into that." And then I never hear about it again. So I'm just saying, at this point, if at this point, it's like, well, I tried this, I tried that, I tried. What else can we try? Just anything.
I honestly believe that when Odyssey drops and we get the new update of the code and all that kind of stuff, I believe little things like that will be changed.
I was actually just about to say the same thing, because how the hell are we going to navigate on a planet on foot without our shipper SRV and all the sensors that come with that?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Fingers crossed for what's coming, and we'll see how it ends up. But guys, put in the comments section after this video is not streaming live, when it's done, put in your thoughts or write us at eliteweek3306@gmail.com, or come into the Discord, which you're going to see the notes for in the comment section of the video, but I'm just going to say it right now so that nobody has the excuse of, well, I didn't see it in the thing. The Discord is just tinyurl.com/Elite Week Discord, all one word, no spaces, no anything. So tinyurl.com Elite Week Discord. Come and go into the community feedback section and tell us what your thoughts are on this, on this idea. And everyone who, not trolls, but anyone who puts in their thoughts on this, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, or you have, something else you want to state, or an idea to make it better, or just you really want to, sort of mirror what Commander Scorbus said, where he's like, "Nah, you guys put this in the game for realsies." Say it, because I know that some of the Frontier staff actually listen to the show. I get feedback every week from one of the community managers who shares their ideas on it, and if this is important to you, say so. And if you're like, man, yeah, I wish EDMC would pick this up or whatever, or hey, I have an idea to do it better, or I have an idea that makes it irrelevant, or whatever. Join in on the discussion, because everyone's ideas will get shared. Next week, we're going to go through and we're going to discuss all of the feedback that we get on this, and we'll definitely give it a good airing and see if any ideas shake through that we can do something awesome with, all right, so that brings us to state of the game, which is where we definitely need to be at so that we can all take a breather and relax. State of the game. So there's a couple thoughts that I have on state of the game. The first is, the whole idea of these patches that we've been having are fleet carrier bugs, okay? So there's been issues where I go into Super Cruise, I'm targeting my fleet carrier to go, land and swap ships, I go into Super Cruise. I look up. All of a sudden, I'm aimed at somebody else's fleet carrier or a star. There's been people that have been getting disconnect codes, MOVAD, or there's people that are like long time tunneling. There's issues with this. There's issues with that. There's all kinds of little issues, little bips and bobs that are not working right with the game. Now, let's be honest. This is a situation that is going to, when any MMO, when they introduce big new honking features, this happens. This is just part of it. You just have to accept it and deal with it and do your best. Don't get discouraged. Move on. Make it work. It's not, it's worth the price of admission, because either you get two choices, okay? You can have shit running stable as fuck and never introduce anything new into it. And what you have there is stable stagnation. You have entropy. You have nothing new happening. And that's boring. Or they can give you cool new shit to play with. When they give you cool new shit to play with, it's going to break lots of little things all over the place. You have to give them some time to get in and fix it and whatever. I personally am a big fan of that. I'll give me some broken shit. It's okay. We'll work it. We'll figure it out. We'll whatever. But give me new shit to play with, and we'll see what's what. But all of these fleet carrier bugs that we still have some lingering from that go all the way back to the June 9 patch. We still have shit where you detarget, you deselect the target. We still have people getting kicked out. We still have some instability. We still have some jitters here and there. And, they've been making changes to try to fix it and do stuff. But a lot of the sort of bugs got drowned out from all of the noise from mining and tritium salt from the .3 and the .4 patch, okay? I feel like they've done a good job of putting that salt to rest. So let's say for a moment, let's close the book on the mining whining, and let's close the book on the TRIT, whining, and say, okay, they've given us a solution. It might not be to everyone's liking. Some people might think it's a little too easy. Some people might think it's a little too hard, but whatever. Let's close the book on that. Let's get back to focusing on, let's fix the actual fleet carrier bugs, the stuff where, for example, the exploit that we talked about last week where you could put, 500,000 tons on your fleet carrier and it'll hold it all. Close that exploit, please, Frontier. That's not good. The weird issues where people are having instability, the weird issues where people are getting dropped out, the weird issues where something shows up as stolen when it was not stolen, or just these little things that are lingering. Let's let the .5 patch, next week or the week after, let's let that sort of try to address these instability issues. And I think a lot of them sort of are going to go away now that people are spreading out and we're not having all of the things in, a couple of systems. But let's focus on that because we need to clear the board. We need to get fleet carriers behind us 100%, that it doesn't have these little niggling sort of, this problem still has not been addressed, or this little thing is still going back to June. Let's get rid of all of that so that we clear the board and we're ready for what comes next. Because I still believe we're going to get a lead in sometime between now and October 1st of the story's going to turn back on. There's going to be some Thargoid activity. There's going to be stuff. I'm not letting go of that. There will be stuff. And I've already heard from some people like, I was expecting something was going to happen this week. Oh, why? From things, hearsay, whatever. And it's like, yeah, I did say that it was going to be sometime between the middle of August, but I also said between the middle of August and October 1st. And I said flat out, the reason why there's that lead time, it wasn't fleet carriers are out, okay, now the story's back, is because they first need to put out all the fires. They need to fix all the shit that's not working right. And they very clearly have not gotten there yet. They've gotten, I think now, where they fixed the stuff from the .3.4 patch. I think the .3.4 patch had fixed some stuff that was broken in supply and demand and in, mining being a little overpowerful and whatever. So okay, they're making good strides in a host of different things. But now let's get back to the actual fundamentals of the fleet carrier and fix some of those little just nitpicky stuff that it's like, this kind of sucks. This isn't good. I wish that needs to get fixed. And that massive exploit of unlimited storage in a fleet carrier also needs to get fixed. So that's number one. Number two, it was in April of 3305. So April of last year, of the year 2019, April of, yeah. It was now I'm second guessing myself. 3306. Yes, it was April of 2019 that the company that makes the SRVs got bought out by Core Dynamics. So it was Vodal. Vodal is the company that makes the SRVs, and they just made the one. And they were having, money problems, and they always were like, no, we're just making this one. We're not making other SRVs. We're just making this one. And they got bought out by Core Dynamics, the Rochester family. And Core Dynamics, obviously, they make lots of different versions of all of the things. So we were having this discussion in the Discord, in the Elite Week Discord this week, and I posted tons of pictures and links to all different kinds of SRVs. With Odyssey coming, man, I'm so excited for the new SRVs that's coming. And I think that story, which we have a link in the show notes to, that exact story, did you bring it up, Arson?
I sure did.
Yeah, that story is, I think, how we're going to get new SRVs. We're going to get, I hope, a mining SRV, and I hope a combat SRV, and I hope this SRV and that SRV, and all kinds of cool shit. All right, so those are my state of the game thoughts. Arson, comments on mine and add your own.
So on the SRV thing, I just want a motorcycle or a speeder bike, and I'll be very, very happy. As far as all the FC stuff is concerned for the carriers, honestly, I'm pretty proud of Frontier. They have not been shy about getting things patched, communicating, and yes, I have experienced a lot of the same bugs, including disconnects and targeting and all that crap. But there is nothing in this game right now that is so broken that it is game breaking for me, and I'm happy about that.
Beautiful. All right. So you covered the SRV thing briefly. You covered the fleet carrier thing. What do you want to add on state of the game? Your thoughts?
Well, we have a Commander Ravenov who has reported on the Elite Dangerous forums that they have made it from Sol to Colonia in 1 hour and 18 minutes. And then they go to say that going by the same standard as Commander Steve Falcon, who went dock to dock, they basically did it the same way that they did, broke the record, and they did it using their Mark I eyeball and some planning. They didn't use third-party tools, which I find really, really interesting, because you always hear people talk about, use the neutron routers and things like that, but you can use the in-game tools pretty effectively. But an hour and 18 minutes.
Well, he also had an extended tank, so he could make better use of the neutrons. Yeah.
Yeah, but even so, like my 23 light year Python, I get about 1,000 light years an hour. Yeah. It's what, 20 something thousand? He's got man. They've got over 20 times the speed of my Python. It's just insane.
Good stuff. It's absolutely good stuff. That will be in the show notes for people to look into. All right. Anything else, Arson?
No, I don't have anything that I want to discuss that's not being moved to next week.
All right. Tweet.
Yeah, as far as the SRVs, I kind of believe we'll be getting them as well, but I think it's partially because there may be missions on the ground that will require different types of SRVs than what we already have. And I think that'll play into the story as to why we're getting them.
Beautiful.
As far as all of the bugs and everything go, I think FDEV is doing a marvelous job trying to take care of all those problems. And if you play any online game, you look at Rockstar this week with Red Dead Online, where they've had horses flying in the air and animals falling out of the sky, and every game has their bugs. And like Arson said, there's nothing in this game so broken that it's game breaking at all. I mean, this game's totally playable.
Absolutely.
And I would say for my state of the game, it's kind of a plea to the community again. I had somebody message me with a scenario where they were mining and got bumped by something and exploded and lost their cargo. And I was asked, what can I do? And how do I stop that? And please, people, commanders, engineering, please, please, please. If you don't have Horizons, it's on sale right now. It's on, Elite Dangerous and Horizons are both on sale. Go get it and set yourself a goal. You don't have to grind all the engineers all at once. Set yourself a goal to do one engineer a week or one engineer every 2 weeks, and just it will open up the game and make it so much more enjoyable for everybody. And you'll find that this game is just that much more amazing once you have all that taken care of.
And while you're at it, stop in at the People's Princess and get your prismatic shields. It's nice.
Absolutely.
All right. So that was an awesome addition for Tweak there. That the base game and Horizons are both on sale right now. I don't know how, but I somehow did not manage to even see that. So I'm assuming this is the Steam sale, the summer sale.
Well, I know for sure it's on Xbox, and typically when it's on Xbox, it's across the board. So
okay, interesting, good stuff. Commander Scorbus, your thoughts on state of the game? Do you have anything to add to the fleet carrier side?
Well, I was just thinking about the it's on sale. Does that mean I'm going to get a 4th account? In terms of like the bugs, yeah, they're on it. So that's all I'll add to that.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just leave them be. Let them fix bugs. They're on it. So don't worry about it. They'll get things fixed. I actually, that thing, that off by 1 error is I've seen that all the time in software engineering. So the SRVs, yes. Tanks, personnel carriers. That's probably going to come in an Odyssey.
Big dump trucks full of ore.
Yeah, dump trucks, motorbikes, speeder bikes, all the things. Give me all the things. And so for my state of the game, I was perusing through some news, and it was just a news site on my phone, and I recognized the face. And I don't know if people in chat and people listening to this after the fact, how many people know who Jay Britton is? If you don't know who he is, you've certainly heard him. He's the voice of many of the audio logs in game. He's one of the voice actors, along with Amelia Tyler, does lots of the voice logs as well for some of the generation ships and other things as well. A really good voice actor, and also has started streaming, since like the whole lockdown. Getting gigs for voice acting work and things is just like everybody else. It's been more problematic. So they've started streaming, and he's built quite a community around him. Is really super nice guy. If you don't know who he is, just search for him on Twitch. He's wonderful guy. And but there was an incident that happened, and it's made the news. One of his community started saying that they weren't feeling very well, having difficulty breathing, and this guy was in Germany, and so Jay Britton is UK based, and because we have these worldwide communities, we all know each other, we talk to each other all the time, but we can't just go around their house and make sure that they're okay if they're suddenly not there. So he's implemented in his Discord, in his community, a buddy system. So a few people know the contact details for individuals. So if something bad happens, it's like, where's John? We haven't seen John for a day. He says he's not feeling very well. Well, Brian knows John, got his phone number. Okay, Brian, can you check John's okay? Because not everybody needs to know everybody's contact details, because you've got, privacy is an issue. But with these close-knit communities, it's really, really super great that people are looking out for each other. And the fact that it was so powerful, it made the news. So for one, that's a fantastic thing, and it's a great idea. And if you aren't doing that in your communities, it might be a good idea to think about that. And two, Mr. Jay Britton, sir, if you're watching this, you are an absolute legend, and thank you for doing that. And
absolutely,
that is my state of the game.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. All right, everybody. We've taken you through the Odyssey that is the week in Elite Dangerous. one last thing I'm going to leave you with. Tuesday, we're getting the Dev Diary. Now, I happen to have a little sort of thought I want to leave you with. The Dev Diary is going to be, I have reason to believe that it's going to be interesting. I have reason to believe that it's going to blow some people's minds. It's not going to be your standard, like, okay, here we're going to show you about how we make this rock, and this looks pretty, this looks whatever. It's going to have that stuff. It's going to have the standard whatever, but it's also going to drop some knowledge bombs on you about shit that's coming in Odyssey, new stuff and amazing stuff. And as they already said, there are going to be interesting guests on now. The original explanation for it that we got obviously on the stream, on the live stream from Bruce, was he said something about that there's going to be an interesting guest, a cameo appearance that was going to have some interesting insight into what's coming. And then later with Steven, the following day, Steven said guests plural. Now I don't think he could have misspoke. It might just be one special cameo, but I'm laying money down right now. What I'm calling is it's going to be Dr. K. Ross on the stream, and then the cameo is going to be, I think it could be the product manager for Elite that's sort of unannounced as of now, but I think it could also be Mr. David Braben himself. And I am calling it right now. Next Tuesday, call me a liar if I'm wrong. Next Tuesday, you're going to say, holy shit, they showed a thing, like a gameplay loop, a thing, a new big, not the standard teaser. Oh, okay, they were walking, let's read into it. What's this? But like actual, like, oh shit, this is concrete, and this is showing me new stuff that I'm going to be doing come January. And then I'll say after that, so there's that's going to be awesome. Then I'm telling you, you're going to get a big honking trailer August 29th. Watch. Tell me I'm wrong. You're going to get it the weekend of Gamescom, 27th through the 30th. I think it's going to be on the 29th. It's going to have cool shit in it. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to have Odyssey to play. Unless something gets pushed back, you're going to have Odyssey to play come January 15th. Those are my predictions. Anybody want to add or question or argue with any of them? Hop in now. Arson?
Braben.
There you go. Tweet.
Yeah, I'm about in the same boat. I'm just totally psyched for any little tidbits of info we get about what Odyssey is going to bring to us.
Scorbius.
I'll also chant Braben.
We love us some David Braben up in these parts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. We love you. I'm going to leave you with the words of Bill and Ted when they said, be excellent to each other. Arson Cross, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
The beautiful people. Goodbye.
Okay.
And Nanu.
Fucking A right, bro. And the coveted spot of the final words of the cast go to our special guest, Commander Scorbus.
Have a great evening, you wonderful people. Fly safe. Oh no, have a good time and fly aimless.
Beautiful. Arson, play us out.